Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By 10 Forward number 27.
Woohoo!
Alien and Aliens.
Dumb and dumber. No, wait.
I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
Jake?
And...
Melissa.
Melissa!
We have a new guest.
Wow.
Hi!
We're very excited to have you on board, Melissa.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Where
you
can
so
we
much for having
Where
me.
can we put this ovipositor?
Oh, God.
Wow, this episode
no,
is
he
gonna
has
be
to keep that shit
special.
Damn. This is like turning into the Howard Stern show.
I really think that we need a soundboard to
No.
make, like...
Oh, yeah. Wow.
We've been saying that for
I mean,
years,
like
too.
a foghorn.
I feel like you
Oh
two...
my god, a foghorn! Yes!
You two are your own... Yeah, see, we don't need a soundboard.
That'd be great!
We have you
definitely
two just
need
to...
that. No, we need a soundboard.
Anyway, Chris, carry on.
So yeah, we're discussing the first two Alien movies before, Well, no, they start to introduce weird lore even kind of early. Anyway.
Have you read the comics?
No, God, no. So in...
Says the biggest comic book nerd at the table. Like, no, I wouldn't read that shit, no.
Well, I'm not into this series enough to do that.
Did you hear that, Alien? Feel bad about
I
yourself.
did make the mistake of seeing Prometheus.
I thought the
Prometheus
movie
is
was
okay.
great. It wasn't good, but it
Michael
was great.
Fassbender is excellent.
I was going to say, I
in it.
think Michael Fassbender tricks people into thinking it's better than it is.
Ayo.
But we're not here to talk about that, thank God.
One day, we will.
We're here to talk about Ridley Scott's Alien and James Cameron's Aliens. So in Alien, an ore-hauling ship is ordered off course and its crew awakened to study a mysterious signal, and it all gets worse from there.
Worse
Hard
or
to
better?
imagine, because what a way to start a story.
Found it. Great. Wow.
There it is.
We're off the rails.
Did you
super
download
early.
like an app or something?
No,
Or
it's
just
just-
YouTube.
This is a YouTube video, and
I
it won't
do-
stop.
You know there's definitely an app though, right?
I'm sure.
Just in case I cut all the jabber about a soundboard,
You better
that's
not.
a callback to a joke I probably cut.
Don't cut the
For the
jokes.
best.
Cut it.
So, yeah, John Hurt looks too close to
He
an
gets
egg.
really hurt.
I was gonna say Hurt's a good name for him in
He
this
looks
movie.
too close to an egg and gets the world's worst case of salmonella poisoning. It bursts out of his chest in a scene directly lifted from Spaceballs.
With John Hurt.
Also
Yeah.
starring John Hurt.
And, I'm amazed they got him for both. And,
When
yeah.
When are we covering Spaceballs? That'll be a good
Dude,
day.
any time now. Why
Talked about it
haven't
several
we?
times. We keep
Let's
ending
just
up
stop talking
managing.
about Alien and talk about
Yeah, I don't even need to watch Spaceballs to have a good discussion
True.
about Spaceballs. I've seen
But,
that one.
yeah, and then the salmonella grows up into a xenomorph, and it slowly picks off the crew,
Sure.
and Bilbo's an android,
Classic.
and eventually only Ripley and the cat live.
For the best.
In Aliens, they find Ripley. Turns out she was drifting in space for 57
57
years.
years.
Jonesy is still alive too.
Jonesy's still there.
Good kid.
Fatter, though. He got fatter in stasis.
Well, he ate a lot of
No, what it is
Exactly. Melissa
It's like
gets
just
it.
little bits of Ripley missing.
well, no, what it is actually it's just that it was
has
really
hungers.
humid in the pod, so his
He's just
fur puffed.
fluffy.
I'm not sure I was humid in a cryostasis pod, but there we go. So yeah, then Paul Reiser shows up,
Classic,
and
he's mad about you.
Ah,
He's
there
mad
it
about
is.
something.
Heyo.
and he's all like, "So look, I might have told these colonists to look for these aliens you told me about."
No, he doesn't say that.
No, but he eventually admits it.
But he might have.
And yeah, so the colony's been wiped out by the xenomorphs, and
Whoopsie.
Game over, man!
Ripley
over.
goes to
There's
try
so
to
much
fix
Bill
it,
Paxton.
along
So
with Bill
much.
Paxton and Kyle Reese. And
Bean?
He's still
What's his
in my
last
heart.
Michael
first name?
Bean or
Michael
Vine,
Bean.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Bean.
And
As in,
yeah,
I'm gonna
there's
flick the bean.
There's explosions and a power loader.
Yeah.
And Ripley's a mom now because God forbid a woman not be defined by motherhood.
She was already a mother, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, it's a cut scene.
There's a cut scene, and there's like a reference or something.
She has a child?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene in the second one that establishes that, like,
Yeah.
she's like, so what happened to my kid? And they're like, oh, well, you know, she did well for herself and died of the cancer.
Recently.
Yeah, so it kind of adds a whole extra layer to the whole thing, but I still... Anyway, we'll get to that.
Originally, here's just me throwing this in as early as possible. They actually had a scene like that, and they filmed it, and it was going to be, oh, your daughter is still alive, you want to talk to her, and they bring up on the video screen, played by Sigourney Weaver's actual mother.
Huh.
Hilarious.
Dope.
And the daughter is just basically like, this is all your fault for leaving me,
Yeah, you
I
abandoned
don't
me.
love you.
Life sucked for me.
Where's
Oh,
the
yeah.
cat?
Oh, she wants the cat?
No, I'm just making that
Damn
part
it.
up. But I wish.
That would
Probably.
be good.
If it
Well,
were me,
at least,
then yes.
at least I'm sure she'll have a long and loving relationship with Newt.
Oh, yeah.
And Newt won't just die off screen between movies.
Yeah.
Is that really what happens?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Alien
The
3.
intro to Alien 3
Also,
is
Michael Biehn.
is
Like, everyone you love
everyone
dies.
except for Ripley dies on the way home.
Isn't
And then
Bishop,
she goes to like a prison rape planet, right?
Yeah, Prison Rape Planet.
Isn't-
Cool.
Yeah, it's,
isn't
it's
Bishop
all-
alive for like 5 minutes at the start of Alien 3, but then he dies?
I think
or...
he might have been.
I've never
We'll cover
seen it.
We'll cover
but,
this one day when we cover Alien 3.
Don't.
No, we won't.
I'll
But
cover it
yeah.
on my own.
There we go.
James is gonna be like hiding under a blanket in her bed, like late at night, like listeners.
Ames, you
I'm
don't
here
even
to
have a
tell you about
microphone.
Aliens.
I mean,
3.
here's the thing.
This is ASMR
From-
Aliens 3.
From what I have read about Covenant, nothing's
looks
as bad as Covenant.
Yeah, Covenant does look bad.
I've never heard of it.
It's the fucking... What was it? It was the semi-sequel to Prometheus.
Oh.
Yikes.
But the only character that carried over was David.
Yikes.
It's a good one.
Yes. But it sounds like they didn't do anything good with him after that.
No.
So. Yeah, no. By all, like, Covenant looks fucking abysmal.
Ridley boy.
Yeah.
He's jumped the shark.
Oh,
Ridley
Ridley Scott has not made a good movie since, like, the early 90s, probably. Right?
What movies has he made that I would know aside from this one?
Blade Runner. The first one. All I remember...
Okay,
like,
let me ask a different question. What good movies has he made that I would know aside from this one?
You don't like Blade Runner?
Not especially.
Hot take. That's a hot one.
I know he did that Robin Hood
Steaming.
movie everyone hated a few years
I
ago.
don't know.
Which one? The one with Cosner?
No.
No,
The
right. That's from like the 80s or something, isn't it?
early 90s. You know, the one with,
Russell
Gladiator.
Crowe.
Yeah.
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Pancake Mouth.
But not Gladiator. Oh, no, Gladiator. Yeah.
But to put pancakes in?
Oh, did he do Gladiator?
Yeah, also that.
Yeah, he did.
I feel like I read somewhere that his singing in Les Mis got him called Pancake Mouth.
Wow.
I thought that was just something we came up
Oh,
with.
is that something we came up with?
It sounds like his mouth is full of
Put it on the
pancakes.
internet.
I was gonna say, if we just say that it's a thing people
Add it-
say, it is now, right?
Add it to the Wikipedia.
Put it on Wikipedia. I was
Also,
just gonna say.
apparently, Ridley Scott did Gladiator, so that might have been his last
That's a good movie.
critically
I like that
successful...
one.
It's a great
Queer
film.
giraffes.
His last critically
Starring
successful
Pancake
film.
House.
Russell Pancake Mouth Crowe.
But yeah, no, I don't
He
know...
loves pancakes.
He really does.
I don't know a lot of them off the top of my head, but I know most of his most recent releases.
In Australia, they call them
God damn it.
Flapjack.
didgeridoo.
It's more like didgeridoo, am I right?
We're critical,
hey-o.
critical disasters.
Where's the foghorn?
Why would you want a foghorn in them?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like this is more of a ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
So,
This is going to be unlistenable.
Yay!
Our worst episode ever already.
I'm here for the worst one.
so I have gone on record having, because this is only the second time I've watched these movies.
Same.
And the first time was over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Same. It was
I
the
had
same time.
frequently be on record saying that Alien is the better movie, but Aliens is the more fun movie.
And what do you think now that you actually
Well, I
watched
was
them?
gonna say, he's definitely taken some of that back.
Alien is the better movie. Aliens is really boring.
Oh!
Whoa.
I have never been so bored by something that wants to be exciting.
Man.
That's
Rough.
very false. And
Like that- like that scene
Like hot cakes.
Where Robin, what's her name, goes down on Ben Affleck in that Superman movie, and he makes
yeah.
that boredom face.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
Hollywoodland?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, no, I was really just not into it this time.
Maybe you are an idiot.
It's possible.
I mean, it's undeniable that Alien is a horror movie and Aliens is an action
Yeah,
movie.
that's
Which
true.
is really unusual for a series to, like, completely change what the
Yeah.
genre
Well,
is.
I have a
Except
great
for,
quote.
like, Rambo and RoboCop and...
I've never seen any of
Well,
these.
RoboCop, the
man,
first
you
two
gotta
movies are the
see-
same.
What about Die Hard? You seen Die Hard?
Of course I've seen Die Hard.
Don't those kind of go off the rails as well?
Well, there's a difference between like going off the rails and switching genres. I
Yeah,
would
you're
argue
right,
that,
you're
that
right,
like
you're right.
First Blood and Rambo 2 First Blood Part 2
Whatever.
The awakening of
the one where
blood.
where it's just
Electric
like
Boogaloo.
the first one's like
What's on
is
his
like
blood?
a great treatise on like the treatment of vets and PTSD and small town cops being dickheads.
Yeah.
And then the second one's like, all right, we're going to send that PTSD guy. We're going to send him into a fucking war zone.
Let's
to kick
weaponize
ass.
his PTSD. But you had something in.
I had a quote because, in terms of, the tones and the genres of these two films, wildly different. The directors of these two films, wildly different.
Yeah.
The writers,
Yeah.
because one of them is also the director,
Yeah.
still wildly different.
Yeah.
The quote Cameron gave was, if the first film could be compared to a haunted attraction, Aliens is a roller coaster.
Yeah. Like, the production design's completely different. I think a big issue is that, at the time at least, again, he's changed a lot, but with Alien, special effects were a means to an end to tell a story. Aliens is enamored with special effects. But that's Cameron in general. The man fucking loves special
They
effects.
also had, like, a
Set pieces.
much bigger budget.
Yeah.
Like, they spent as much budget on just Sigourney Weaver as they did on the whole of Alien.
That makes sense.
Sigourney Weaver was a huge movie star by the time.
Yeah.
She'd been in
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, she apparently tried to say no many times, but Cameron, was adamant that she'd be in the movie.
Sure.
We'll give you properly sized underwear.
Maybe.
No, they were still too small at the beginning of the second
that's
movie.
true. They weren't as bad as the ones.
Seriously,
at the
though,
end.
why did they put her in children's underwear at the end of the movie and give her plumber's crack? I was like, I get that you don't want. I understand that you want to cut off as close to her vulva as you can.
Yeah, sure.
But plumber's crack in the back, you guys couldn't just make a hanky into a better pair of underwear than
It's
this?
not a good excuse, but clearly they wanted her to seem extra vulnerable. Like, I'm sure if he'd had his way, he should have been nude,
That
frankly.
was the original plan. And also, that's stupid in and of itself, but
Yes.
also in the original plan was that the alien would be aroused by it.
God, there's enough...
I'm so glad they cut that.
There's enough weird psychosexual shit in the first movie. We didn't need
Where's
that.
the soundboard?
Okay.
Boy, yo, 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 yo.
That's the thing I love about these movies. The psychosexual shit is, for the most part, it's inverted really nicely.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of, men being penetrated and, the powerful female figures. And,
Well, so
And
it's
fisting.
interesting.
and I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I remember reading years ago, the original script was way gayer.
Love it.
They were
I do
all
miss that.
they were
I do
all
wish it was
men,
there.
and there was a lot of grab ass going on.
They were all
and-
unisex characters.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
All O'Bannon and the other guy, Shusett, wrote the script so that all the characters could be whatever was best for the role.
Oh, okay.
So the casting directors got to pick, but they said, well, even though we said all the characters would be unisex, which is, how I write as well.
Yeah, sure. They
For
just-
whatever's best for the role. They didn't even cross their minds that the Ripley
Ripley
character,
would be-
which was a different name at the time,
Mm.
could ever be female. And I think
That's wild.
she can only be female.
Yeah.
Because it's so perfect a role.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating, I kind of forgot, is it really, really is an ensemble piece.
Yes.
Until everyone else is dead,
Yes.
she's not the focus.
Yes.
Which I forgot about because you get so used to the idea that Ripley is the lead of Alien. But I mean, yeah, she's the face of the franchise. But in the film,
This movie, yeah.
The cat
Most-
is the hero.
yeah, the engineers and Veronica
Oh.
Cartwright get the least screen time
Sure.
overall.
But they're still a big part of
Yeah.
the experience of the movie.
Yeah, and it's only as they kill off everyone else. It's almost like the chain of command. Once the captain and first officer are dead, then the story starts to shift more to her.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? Because we have the context of the future movies, but
That's
if you
true.
look at Alien as just a straight up horror movie,
Yeah.
what would have been popular at the end of the 70s with because you have the Halloween franchise where they had a female badass lead who survives every movie.
Final
So
girl
Yeah.
shit.
yeah, so that's basically what what Ripley could be viewed as in this movie is just the final girl that happens to survive.
It made me very surprised because I entirely forgot that Hicks survives Aliens.
So did Caitlin.
Barely.
I entirely forgot that because I was meanwhile shipping him and Ripley hard. Like,
absolutely.
Okay, that's
please
Kyle Reese.
bang more.
Romance of dreams.
I mean,
Maybe it'll be in
I was
3.
shipping
Nope.
Hudson and Ripley, but
Same.
Oh, Hudson.
I'm shipping Hudson and nobody. Fuck right off, Hudson. Hudson and shutting up.
Oh, Bill Paxton is adorable in this, though, because he's such a whiny little baby, and I guess Paxton said, he was concerned that he was coming off as too much of a whiny baby, but then you realize as you're watching the movie, it's because you need the pressure relief the pressure valve to be
It's a very, audience replacement character that you would just be like, fuck all of this, fuck it again, I can't
But also,
this anymore.
Clearly they're trying to play with the idea of, here's these big, tough soldiers, and they're useless in the face of these things.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and towards the end I was like, this should have been Verhoeven.
It could have been.
He'd have done
good.
so much better with it.
There'd be more commentary, too.
Yeah.
And more stop motion.
the gore would have been amazing.
Because especially when they
The
first...
chest burster. Imagine how cool a chest burster would look if it was Verhoeven.
But
it was still great.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get me wrong. I like James Cameron. I think the Terminator movies are great. I like Titanic.
I always forget that was James Cameron.
And I like
can
this
see it in the
movie.
cast.
But yeah, I think his reliance on action tropes.
Well, I think I kind of forgot. I'm sitting there the minute the cryo chamber opens, the sergeant or whatever has had a cigar in there with him the whole time. So he could put it in his mouth, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be some." Oh no, that's just that's actually his character. That's not a parody. This isn't commentary.
Yep.
This is just who he is.
There's no nuance.
I am sad.
No,
No,
cardboard cutout.
But but he almost that seems like a Verhoeven. Joke,
right?
right?
But Verhoeven would have brought it to a conclusion, whereas this doesn't. And
that's because that character doesn't last long enough to have a conclusion.
Was that a poem?
Yeah. He
Oh
gets,
god,
he gets
yeah.
wasted in the.
Boy, I sure didn't know any of their names.
Yeah.
I mean, you know Hudson, Hicks, Vasquez,
Burke.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
What was the lieutenant's
Burke
name?
is Paul Reiser.
okay.
I keep wanting to call the Lieutenant
Burke the
Dodson,
jerk.
but that's Jurassic Park.
Dodson! We got Dodson here!
Gorman.
Yeah, no, for me it was the lieutenant. Paul Reiser was just Paul Reiser.
Yeah. I literally rewound at some point because somebody was like, "Stay, we gotta keep Frosty," and I was like, "Wasn't one of those guys named Frosty and he died 2 minutes ago? Why are we like, keep Frosty?" And that's right, the guy with the the flamethrower at the beginning that gets thrown.
The blondish guy.
No, the black guy who gets killed immediately.
Okay,
Oh no, but the blonde
He
guy.
was called Frosty,
And then
Yeah.
immediately later they're like, "Keep Frosty out there," and I'm like, "What the
So
fuck?"
die?
Yeah.
What? I missed that. Oh boy, Jesus. But yeah, the first one's just this great slow build.
I love how slow paced it is, and they did that on purpose.
No dialogue for the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, no dialogue. You don't see the alien until over an hour in, and the alien's only on screen 4 minutes.
But
it looks goofy for the entire time.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I forgot. There's a good reason they don't show it a lot.
Yeah.
When it first runs away screaming from John Hurt, we rewound and rewatched it because it's
6
hysterical. Because it doesn't just slide. You're like, oh wow, it really doesn't look that different in Spaceballs. But the little noise it makes, it's so happy. Whee!
At one point we rewound it and I said, Did it just say we're back? Is there a Romulan?
Wait, are you talking about the chest bursters?
Yeah,
The chest burster,
chest
yeah.
burster. Because he throws back his head and goes, and then runs away.
Like a kitty.
So cute.
It was adorable, actually. That's the thing. If you didn't know, if it hadn't just burst out of John Hurt's chest, it would have been
Jonesy
really
had
cute.
taken care of it right
Seriously,
then.
he could have just eaten it. That would have been the best.
That would have dissolved Jonesy's head. But
No, here's the thing.
Please.
Jonesy and the alien were working together.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The alien was like...
Jonesy's like, I will lure that guy in here.
Well, because the other thing is Jonesy cornered it, and the alien's like, whoa. I'll let you eat the bodies. The cat's like, deal.
Fair.
Fuck.
I'm not gonna listen to this Jonesy slander. This is bullshit.
Yeah,
Well, no,
Jonesy's
he's
a good boy.
Part of the reason
but
we
it's-
love cats is that we love them despite knowing that if we dropped dead next to them
They'd eat us.
so quickly.
But just to be clear, if I drop dead and my cats don't have anything else to eat, they are welcome to eat my dead body.
See,
They're
and
hungry babies.
that's the virus that they give us with their shit that makes us think, yes, we just want Kitty to be happy.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Most
I am
of
How do I
totally...
get
to
most
be happy.
kitties? More kitties.
I would say it's also not slander. Like, I am okay with Jonesy having made this deal.
It's true.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, it's like,
especially
I
once you-
want to live.
Especially once you see how that bitch throws the carrier around at the end. If I was Jonesy, I too would be seeking revenge ahead of time.
Yeah, like, I know in reality the cat was not
No,
in there
no
for those
cat.
scenes, but all I could think was like, oh, if that was in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, kid.
I bang the carrier off the door just a little. I'm like, ooh, baby, ooh, I'm so ooh. She's like throwing it through doors.
kicking it.
What the fuck?
For real. Poor Jonesy.
But yeah, it's a slow build, but it's never
Yeah.
a slow movie.
Yeah.
No, and
Like-
I like that, and this is something that I kind of missed in the second one. Is there's not a ton of dialogue just in general.
Yeah, no.
Smart.
But when there is, it's not always just about the alien until it is.
Yeah.
Like
They
there was
talk about cornbread quite
There's
a lot.
like they're talking
Cornbread. Yeah.
And they talk about the bonuses a lot.
the
A lot.
bonuses. That
It's
whole
all
that
about
whole
that money.
that whole thing at the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie where the engineers are
Yeah,
complaining
they
that
get
they're
the
not
half
getting a good share.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, that is a great detail because it's totally irrelevant to like the aliens.
Yeah.
But it is relevant in the sense that like it shows that the company is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And it's also just like that's how people would talk.
Yes.
Like they're at work.
Yes.
They're just like
Yeah.
workaday guys that
Yeah.
are bitching about the boss.
And there's moments of, oh god, of course I can't think of his name the minute I need to think of it.
Mike Rowe. Dirty Jobs.
No,
Yep, Mike Rowe.
that director.
Ridley Scott.
No, shit. Did
James Cameron.
did The Long Goodbye.
Elliot Gould. I have no idea who directed that movie.
Popeye and better movies.
Robin-
None
Williams.
of these are movies I know.
Well, he's
This
famous
is
for
fun.
like naturalistic overlapping dialogue.
Okay.
When people are having conversations.
Oh, like we're doing right now all the time.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, a little bit.
The one that did the West Wing show. He likes that
The
shit.
West
doesn't he?
Wing show.
Huh?
He-
Robert
Sorkin-
Altman.
Sorkin's a
Oh,
writer.
Altman.
So there's
Oh,
moments
right.
where there's almost Altman like, there's overlap and things like that.
Well, but I feel like there's really good, like, it's world building. Like,
Yeah.
you get a sense
Yeah.
of all the shit that's... I think there's a, I did a little research for this.
Yeah.
There's a great Ebert quote about the fact that the first movie, they cast, like, a lot of older actors for the most part, other than Sigourney Weaver.
Other than the two women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it gives you the sense, and the Ebert quote is that, like, it gives you the sense that, like, it's a room full of workers, not
Yeah.
adventurers.
These are
Like, yeah.
blue collar folks.
Yeah.
These
And there's,
are-
like, class issues and shit like that.
These are the least qualified people in the world
Yeah.
to be attempting to make first contact.
Yeah.
Except for Ash, apparently.
Well, yeah.
We'll get to Ash in a second.
Yes.
What an
But I mean,
asshole.
it makes it feel
Hey.
like very relatable that you're just like trying to get your job done today, and now there's
Yep.
fucking aliens instead of like we're out to find aliens and like fun shit's gonna happen.
Well, and it isn't even just like we're doing our job and there's aliens.
Yeah.
It's like we're doing our job and they're making us wake up out of cryostasis 10 months early,
Yeah.
and they're sending us to this fucking planet to check out this SOS. This isn't in my fucking contract.
Yeah.
Actually it is subparagraph
Well, see-
3. If you don't
Ash.
help, you go fuck yourself.
Basically,
Oh, okay, great.
this movie predicted and other duties as required.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here's
so deeply anti-corporate. I love it.
I said this to Chris kind of in jest, but now I'm going to say it seriously, and I
Yeah.
know it's kind of a shitty comparison to make, and I'm not trying to make a big, bold statement. However,
Make that
expecting minors to go fucking investigate alien life,
Yeah.
sending out an SOS, this is what you get when you expect teachers to be security guards in classrooms. Like, honest to God, it feels like the natural progression. Like, guess every person that does a job, you're also now emergency
And
services.
So
other
good luck.
duties as necessary.
So there is, I feel like there is like naval precedent for offering
For belly
assistance
buttons?
to ships.
I was thinking the same thing.
I was also
Yes.
thinking the same thing.
So, like offering assistance to ships that are in distress. So like that could be.
But the
a
Navy's
thing.
military. There's a big
But the-
difference.
Well,
between,
I mean, I just think like even if you're not military, like,
Okay,
I think like if you are even a civilian ship and you receive a distress call, your maritime laws like you gotta
Too
help
bad I
as-
turned off
as
my
a-
radio and didn't hear that shit.
Except the thing is, they even say that, like,
Yeah.
they don't even know if it's a distress signal. It's just like, this might
it's a weird
be
signal.
alien life, and we have to. It's kind of like how, what was it, in TOS, they had to drop whatever they were doing if they ever saw a quasar.
Right. Or Omega Directive.
Yeah.
Which we haven't aired yet.
Yeah.
Damn it. Bad comparison. Bitch.
It'll make sense in a week or two.
Yes. Here's my question then.
You'll understand when you're older.
Who is actually the villain of this movie? Ash or Mother?
Yes.
Yeah, they're both built and programmed by the
Because
corporation.
it's not Alien.
So.
Yeah.
Alien is just doing its thing on its
Yeah.
planet, and
Yeah.
we're an invasive species, and fuck us.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it's definitely
that's
the
not
company.
its planet.
Yeah, I was gonna
though.
say actually, it was an invasive species
that
on
they
that planet.
killed
Oh, that's
the crew
true.
of that other ship.
That's true.
Well, then, I don't know if this is like fan theory or something that's established by one of the bad prequels, but like, the idea that may have been a warship, and the idea was it was going to drop the eggs somewhere as a weapon.
Oh, that's interesting.
But again, I don't know if
somebody was like taking a peek and
something went wrong. Yeah.
So this is also like anti-bio warfare.
I mean, warfare in general, but just like it's the oldest like nuclear warfare metaphor in the book. It's gonna fuck everyone.
Like that's something that I'm really interested in. That like I'm both glad that they didn't get into it in this movie, and also a little
Read the
disappointed.
comics.
But like, what was that other ship? Like, who were those people?
God, don't look into. Well, that's Prometheus, and none of the answers are good.
Well, yes.
It's basically everything bad about the chase made worse.
Oh, the Chase the episode of TNG.
Yeah.
Which one's
I'm
that?
thinking the movie with my brain turned off. Guy from 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
John Pryor.
No,
I didn't know there was a
The
movie
kid
called
that
that.
found Jesus.
You got it the first time. You can stop guessing.
Oh, okay,
now.
thank you.
Okay,
Oh, the woman that played the maid.
The Mighty
Yeah, I was
Ducks.
just gonna say
Somebody
that.
does.
Peaches.
No, but really, I think that's the thing that's good about a movie like this is that it implies
Yeah.
a universe that you want to
Yeah.
know more
Yep.
shit
Yep.
about, and it like sets up like, oh, this is a cool thing, but doesn't have to get into something that ends up being dumb.
Oh, like the original Star Wars, and then the rest of the Star Wars movies ruin that.
Yeah, basically, at some point, the entertainment industry forgot the whole always leave them wanting more adage.
give them so much that they don't want any more.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's the only thing they can get, so they
won't
anyways.
they won't stop. Even though it was, I think, not just a critical but commercial failure, I'm sure they'll try to make another Alien prequel at some point.
Yeah.
Yay.
Alien vs. Predator 3, I'm sure, could still happen.
Well, but wasn't this new one supposed to be good?
No, that was
Good Predator.
that was good. This Prey is a good standalone Predator movie by all
There's no
accounts.
Just
aliens
kidding.
involved.
Oh,
Except
okay.
for the Predators, which
Which is an alien, but not an alien.
Wow.
With a capital A.
Do we ever find out what the alien species is called?
They call it a xenomorph in the second one.
No, but I mean,
I don't know
like,
what it
humans,
calls
but
itself.
like its planet.
Oh,
it
no,
calls
like,
itself.
It calls itself.
Say that again.
Good accent on that. It's really difficult to pronounce that
get
word.
to get it
with-
right in the
Yeah.
in the native tongue. It's a
It's a
challenge.
tonal language.
You really have to
It's
get-
complex.
Yeah.
I want to get back to Ash because
Yes.
I know the original script that
Full of milk.
from O'Bannon and Shusett
That's
didn't
so
include
gross.
an android character,
That's
and
right.
it was the producers that
right.
decided we're gonna add this, and one of them's an android, and this is
Yeah.
how it's going to move forward. And O'Bannon was pissed about this. Shusett said it was fine; it added in something interesting. So I ask you guys, what do you think the being an android added?
I mean, it added that.
That Mother couldn't have just done herself.
Well, yeah.
Nothing, because people are absolutely evil enough to have done this. So it's not like the kind of person that would say, "Yeah, the crew is expendable."
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't give a
Burke the
fuck."
next episode.
That's what I mean. It's just
Or the next
people.
movie.
It's almost like they're trying to excuse people from what happened, and it's like no.
Well, except people had to be behind Ash. I think it actually, if anything, it works because it adds this extra layer of disconnect between the unseen, unnamed, which I forgot, company. It's like they don't even bother sending a proper agent. Like, in a way, it makes it where it's like, all right, look, we have plenty of shitheads that work for us, but there is a non-zero chance that even the biggest shithead might grow a conscience. Let's get something that definitely cannot.
Well, I also think because here. Okay.
Yep, good.
So.
No, he's right. I agree.
Thank
Is
you.
that one of the xenomorphs' names?
Yes.
Actually, no, it's one of the Predators' names.
That's a foghorn noise.
I say.
Um,
Not that foghorn.
no, what I was actually going to say was,
Nice.
what the fuck was the plan?
Yeah.
Because either they had no idea what they were dealing with, or...
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Well, here's the thing, right? So assume the alien gets out, kills the entire crew. Like, maybe the idea is that it can't, like, detect androids, so somehow Ash manages to survive. But otherwise, it seems like the alien is just going to murder everybody on the ship.
Yeah, but couldn't they just like autopilot the shuttle back to home and just because they're all sleeping? So the ship is obviously flying itself.
Yeah.
They've all been asleep for however long.
Like, I don't know exactly what they knew, but it was implicit that the company had a vague idea there was potentially something out there. Because they weren't just woken up early. It's easy to miss, but when they're talking a bit later, I think Veronica Cartwright might be the navigator.
Oh yeah, they were off course.
Yep.
Yeah, she was like, we're 10 months off course. So, like, they were purposely sent
They were
out of their
pulled to a
way.
different location.
So, like, again, they maybe didn't know exactly what was going to be there, but somewhere in the company, somebody had an idea, an inkling that there might have been something there.
I've heard the most insane fan theory that it's David from Prometheus.
Oh no,
classic.
that just is fact now.
Damn
Thanks to
it!
Covenant.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah, do not watch Covenant.
I'm gonna watch Covenant now.
Like, basically, again, all the answers are bad, and at the end of the day, Xenomorph was somehow accidentally created by humans.
Jesus.
Even though, if you watch this movie, that ship crashed centuries ago and has just been chilling there gathering dust. But no, never mind, they were created like 50 years ago.
Well, and Native Americans were given their culture by really white space aliens.
That's true.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Thank you, Star Trek.
All right, save this for when we cover Alien Covenant, Chris.
It's definitely better to just wonder without knowing.
Yeah, and I think even the first movie sets all this up in a really nice way, leaves you wanting more, leaves you with a world that is larger than the story. The world that is longer than the story. Period.
And underwear that are larger than the ones that Ripley is wearing.
Ayo.
True. Aliens, I think, does a pretty good job building off that without going absolutely nuts with lore. I think it stays contained within the lore
That's
without
true.
going nuts. Like the addition of the corporation, which we do see in Alien, it's on a little screen somewhere.
Oh, they do have the name?
The name is on the screen somewhere. So they picked up this stuff and said, it's a corporation. Let's make a little social commentary about corporate bullshit. Let's make Burke a fucking louse.
Oh, he's the worst.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like, I think all of that stuff is still in service to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I liked how, I made this note because I realized Alien is a very alien movie. You go to this alien planet, you see lots of alien sets and stuff, and H.R. Giger going nuts with everything, doing his thing.
Puffin stuff.
That's the one. And for the first while of Aliens, I'm like, everything is human so far.
Yes.
We go to a colony and it's human. The ship is very human.
She's
Everything
like
is
in a
normal.
hospital or whatever.
And I'm watching like, where's the alien stuff? And then they dig further into the colony. There's the alien stuff.
Why do we find these aliens so cute? What the fuck?
I did much prefer, and I get that, you could justify it as being it's 60 years later, but I missed the tactility of Alien in Aliens.
Well, like,
everything's so smooth and shiny.
Yeah, everything on the Nostromo just felt very
stinky,
and it felt like the
It
bowels
smelled like
of a
an
ship.
armpit.
Yeah,
Sweaty.
it's very chunky. Like, the only clean parts of the ship are the sick bay and Mother's room.
Everything's
And the
dripping with
cryopods.
water for no reason.
There's so
Yeah.
much water.
People putting their
Bunch
in
of
their
chains.
mouths.
Yeah.
Just like long chains.
Well,
dangling around.
it's a
It's a
cargo ship, a hauler.
Yeah, it's a
The
tugboat.
chains I guess make sense, but why is everything dripping water?
Bad
Condensation.
plumbing.
sweaty.
Yeah, maybe.
You've got
Cooling
got
units.
Did you
two
talk about
engineers for this whole thing,
Yeah.
and they are underpaid and
they
doing the
don't
bare
give a
minimum.
shit.
Yeah,
And one of them pulls a fucking Scotty. How long is this going to take? 24 hours. 37 hours, whatever it was. I was like, that's great.
I loved that.
I loved
Those
it.
guys are the
So
best.
good.
They were great.
Here's my
good
question.
casting too.
I got lost a couple of times with where ships were at any given time, and I didn't realize until I read a note somewhere that the Nostromo is hauling a thing.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize that the long, mile-long container is the thing that it is towing.
Most of the ship is just the space version of a cargo van on the back of an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
It's
they're
a
hauling 20 million tons of something or
mineral
other.
processing refinery.
Yeah.
So they detached the Nostromo.
Coal. It's
Did
probably
the
coal.
whole Nostromo go down to planet, or did just a little
Was it
pod?
Didn't
go
something
down?
split off? I feel like there was a little,
there was like
little tiny ship
So the
that
thing
went
is-
sailing.
the Nostromo is the tug.
Yeah.
All the big
The
tall
towers.
stuff, those are just like the cargo holds.
Okay.
So they detached their tug. They left the cargo holds.
So
in
that's
orbit.
the Nostromo is the tug.
The
So if it was
Nostromo
a
is
Mack
the tug.
truck,
The whole
it's just
thing
the
went
cab.
down.
The
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
Nostromo
back
went
is-
down.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. I thought
Don't those things
I
look
thought it
silly
was-
as shit when they're just driving with just the cab?
the
It's always a little
So
weird.
silly.
But it's also doubly confusing. So there's the Nostromo when she's in tug mode hauling these towers. And then the Nostromo itself has that shuttle.
Yeah.
So
Got a
like
little
there's
shuttle.
There's all this thing has multi-vector, not attack mode.
Why not just send the shuttle down and then have someone still in space?
Because why would you need to leave somebody in space?
Oh,
So
God,
let's
that-
check it out.
Somebody could come by and steal
That-
the towers of
Yeah.
ore.
That was something that very much annoyed me in
What's that?
2.
Oh, that they left nobody on the ship?
It's like, there's literally no reason to not have at least one person back in orbit, except for the story.
Yeah.
Oh, because they did the same thing in Alien. Because
But
they
it-
sent everybody down to
But
planet.
with that, they were sending down their whole ship. Like, they were sending, because again, the towers served no purpose to them except to haul the cargo.
Yeah.
Like, there wouldn't have been anything back there that someone back there could have sent to help them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you'd left someone back there with that extra ship,
Yeah.
you could be like, send the extra ship instead of sending Bishop to play RC cars.
Which I can't, like, why the fuck did Ripley go down to the planet? Why wouldn't she
That's a
be like,
good question.
I'm here as a consultant,
Oh,
I'll
in
stay on the
Aliens.
fucking ship.
I thought the same
Talk to
thing.
Give me a call.
Like, give me a call if you have questions. But why does she have to be in this, like,
I have-
forward team?
I have
that's
all
fucking-
the PTSD. Don't
Yeah.
send me down
Yeah,
there.
right?
It was so she could
She's
bond
like-
with Newt.
Hicks.
And
Hicks. And Hicks.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
all of that.
Oh, they bonded all
I
right.
was gonna say, I'd
They
like to
did
bond
not
with-
bond.
They didn't
I'd
get
like
the
to
chance.
bond with Hicks.
Ayo. Why is he such a heartthrob from literally like two
movies,
years
yeah.
and that's it? And he's just
Because
like,
he
gone after
wasn't a
that.
very good actor.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
be honest. Like, he was better in this than
And he wasn't
was...
that pretty.
I
He was
liked
just
him
the
in
prettiest
this.
thing on screen. You know what I mean?
They just gave him really good lines. Like he
Yeah,
was
he
always
did have
like,
good
Ripley,
lines.
I really trust you and your expertise. And you're like, oh yeah.
Well, and with it, yeah, like... Yeah, he's better in this than he was in the first Terminator. Like, he's in that and he's fine, but he's definitely kind of
Pretty.
stiff.
Pretty.
Yeah. In this, he can actually act a little better. When they make eyes at each other, it's like, you two want to fuck, and I'm okay with that.
Sure.
But, yeah.
What a feat, though, making Paul Reiser into such a vile person.
He's just a corporate go-between
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's such a classic
Slimy.
80s character of like, he's just a good guy, but he's gonna fuck you over because
Mhm.
it's his suit.
He's 80s man.
He's 80s guy from Futurama.
He's
He's,
80s guy.
He should have cured his
He's,
bonitis.
he's the guy from Die Hard that tried to strike a deal with Gruber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing
Idiot.
coke in the lady's office. Yeah.
But that's the thing, was this kind of before he was as well established as, like, just
Yes.
affable sitcom
Yeah,
Paul Reiser?
yeah, this
Well,
is-
yeah,
this is
because that
before,
was the 90s, right? The early
Yeah.
90s was bad
Yeah,
about
he's
it.
very baby-faced in this.
Yeah.
He's such a baby.
But like having grown up in the 90s and really mostly know Paul Reiser from
Yeah.
Mad About You, I'm like, no!
He's a good
Aw.
guy.
I love that he shows up in, like, fucking middle-aged dad
Yeah.
camping outfit
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
expedition, even knowing what they might find.
Yeah.
Did he have a fishing hat? He should have had a fishing
Should
hat.
have. Yeah, he
With some,
all
like,
but did.
with some hooks in it, you know? Here
It's
we
like
go,
the-
let's get some xenomorphs.
The dad from like Leave It to Beaver or something was like the same thing in the
Ward.
50s.
Ward Cleaver.
Yeah, where he was like super like good guy, and then he did a couple of movies where he's kind of a d-bag, and you're like, ooh.
Oh,
alright. The Apartment is a classic where he's like,
yeah. Oh, who would he play? Because then there was also, was that Fred McMurray?
oh, I was thinking of Fred McMurray.
Yeah,
I
Fred
was
McMurray,
thinking
who
of
did, like,
Fred
all
McMurray.
these Disney movies.
Yeah,
and,
and
but
he's, like,
he
so-
also did Double Indemnity.
Yeah,
and you're just like,
yeah.
this is so weird.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
It's a nice twist.
Yeah.
I like to see that. Well, and I have to say this before we get past it, which is Terminator, so Michael Biehn, and also Terminator 2, Jeanette Goldstein, who's Vasquez, is John Connor's foster mom.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is
Oh,
great.
wow,
Like,
she looks so different.
right.
Yeah. Well,
She's
That's
white.
because they browned her up for
They did,
aliens.
for Vasquez, that she's supposed to be
Latino.
okay. There's some like crazy shit going on with like Mexico in the future, I guess. Where Aliens 2, there's a lot of like people say things in Spanish every now and then like they talk about like Vasquez being like an illegal alien, and you're like, why is this still a thing? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised that like when we see the like American flag patches on the Marines uniforms, and they still look. I didn't.
They still look
count.
50 stars.
They still
as
look
far
like
as I
50
can
stars.
tell.
I'm like, so this is like hundreds and hundreds of years in the future, and you're telling me we
nothing's changed.
we
not
still
that
have the
many
same flag, and
hundreds.
we still are racist against Mexicans?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
really?
that tracks. Have you seen how things are going?
I was gonna
lately?
say, I think if America still exists in the future, we'll still be racist as fuck. But I do think by then we will have either finally let Puerto Rico in, or Washington, or we'll have annexed Canada, or something.
No. So we finally cut off the South and then added some more states from
That's
Canada.
good, yeah.
Ah.
If we get rid of Texas and like some other really bad one, like
Florida.
I don't know, Louisiana or
See, like-
something, and then we can get Puerto Rico and Washington D.C. without even changing.
That would
the
have been a
flag.
very
Would have
good
been very
opportunity, I think, in this movie to do some of that world building that's not necessarily explained. Like, you don't have to give it more stars. Just make the flag
Look
different. Give it, put something else in the canton.
I honestly was like taken out a bit by seeing it at all. It's like, oh, there's
why is
still
there
America?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that far in the future.
No, I know, but it
What
still
year
felt
is
like
it? Do we know?
I want to say it's like... I think somewhere on a screen it said 2037, but that's wrong.
It is
I
not.
think it's like 2122 or something like that.
So around Enterprise time.
That's 2122 is when Aliens happen?
I think so. Something like that.
Okay, so...
I only saw a reference in like one article I read online, and I don't remember seeing it anywhere.
Well, still, so that means that Alien is still 40 or 50 years
57.
in our future.
Oh, in Alien, yes.
In Alien, right?
You know what's cool about that is that like 50 years from now, somebody might start like some sort of interstellar freight something, and they might call it their first ship the Nostromo, and it'll be great.
That's so good.
Yeah, but it'll end up being like some descendant of Elon Musk. That's
it'll be
that's
the
less
bastard.
It'll be
It definitely
algebra
will be.
equation there.
And just to pull it back, Nostromo is a Joseph Conrad novel.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, which is specifically about, I think it's about like mining, and
There we go.
Nostromo, the word itself means like shipmate or something like that in Italian.
He's the one that wrote The Heart of Darkness? Question mark?
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. 10th grade.
English class.
Yeah, I nailed it.
The horror movie
I
that we're
didn't-
watching.
I did not end up getting assigned that until college, Heart of Darkness.
Yeah, me too.
I like the movie.
The movie's great.
Oh, I love it.
I like that
now.
you said I didn't get assigned that, because that suggests you didn't read it. You were just supposed to.
Oh, I actually did.
Oh.
I did.
It's short.
Yeah, it's very short.
I remember.
Has anybody seen Hearts of Darkness? The
Not yet, I
documentary
need
about the
to.
making the movie.
It's
so
supposed to be
fucking
amazing.
Insane. Highly recommend. Total
Oh.
left turn.
So,
Not
one
on
thing
this podcast.
I noticed, and I texted you a part of this the other day.
Oh, God, yeah.
But there were two-
I gave no shit, so I
Two
didn't respond.
reuses. I'm sitting there during the sick bay scene, and I'm just like, that's Deckard's apartment. And I Googled it, and yes, the background noise, that rising and falling noise, is the same noise they use in Deckard's apartment in the first Blade Runner.
Oh, that's wild.
Do
This
your
weird-
impression of it. You did it for me.
Oh, God.
Why does Deckard like to live like this?
I don't know.
That confirms it. He's a
Definitely
replicant.
a replicant.
Actually, I'm not gonna
It
lie.
is like the little ghost sound.
I've got this sci-fi ambient noise, like white noise app on my Echo Dot, and I turn that on sometimes. It's easy to fall asleep to because it's just very regular.
Hey, hang on. Are you a replicant?
I don't know, shine a light in my eyes.
There you go.
And then in Aliens, James Horner, who we know as the composer for Star Trek 2 and 3.
I kept hearing notes. I'm like, I even turned to her at one point. I'm like, did James Horner do the music for this? Because I keep hearing Khan.
He reused wholesale what was effectively the Reliant theme.
Yeah, he
during
changed
the
it a
action scene.
little
A tiny
bit.
bit.
little
We
bit.
stopped so Chris could play the music for me and then restart the scene, and I was like,
Don't
oh
watch-
yeah, that does sound exactly
Don't
the
watch
same.
movies with Chris.
Well, here's the thing. Chris will stop a movie to play me a musical clip, and I will chatter incessantly through the film, and it's not even really an even split for him, to be honest. Like, for me, I'm getting off easy.
That's funny.
But
anyway,
yeah.
I read they did not give Horner enough time.
That's-
So he
He's
basically
just like,
cannibalized his own work.
It's like that meme where it's like, okay, can I copy your homework? All right, but don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
But he's copying his own homework.
And then you cut to Vanilla Ice being like, no, see, theirs is dun 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 dun, and ours is dun 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 dun. Yeah, exactly.
I like to imagine it's like, James, this score, it just says The Wrath of Khan, but you crossed out and wrote, James Cameron didn't give me enough time, fuck him.
This is actually, when I was teaching undergrads, this is a big issue, is that you have to be really careful that your assignments for essays aren't things they can use in other classes, because apparently that's like a big issue.
Just
At least at
reusing
Emerson,
the same
where they're
essay.
like trying to mash the
I
same
actually got to
essay.
do that in a classics class.
It's
I
the
I
best.
took a paper and sort of worked
Just,
on
like,
it a little
reframe
bit.
it a
To,
little.
yeah, a
I
little
mean, what's
bit.
wrong?
Make it
I don't see anything wrong with that. Honestly.
It's still work that you did.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
the big deal?
Who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, if
So
people
you guys
can,
all agree with
works-
James Horner in this
if people
Work
can
smarter, not
re-release
harder.
re-release a
I mean-
textbook every year with like 2
Yeah.
words changed, why do I give a fuck?
Yeah.
Here's the
my
thing.
friend.
Here's the thing. 99% of the population alien, it will not matter. It's
Yeah.
only losers like me
Aw.
who listen to film scores in his spare time that are going to go, James.
I mean, I did notice
Come
it, and I don't
on.
listen to film scores in my spare
That's
time.
true, but
so-
you're also a pretty big nerd.
Okay, but
That's
also James Horner probably used to listen to film scores in his spare time, and then he became a really great,
beautiful.
composer person.
beautiful.
So,
It's beautiful.
just saying, don't
Wow.
sell yourself short.
You might become... No.
I'm 38.
Nerd your way to success.
That ship has sailed, Caitlin.
But yeah. The thing that really caught me was the Deckard thing. I was just like, I know that noise.
Actually-
and I Googled it. They confirmed it was the same noise.
You know what? If you look another reuse in this film, if you look really, really closely when the Nostromo explodes, I know it gets kind of washed up, but if you look really, really closely, it's actually a Klingon bird of prey.
I thought you were gonna be like, it's that little alien, little astronaut guy is waving in
So
the background.
the really crazy thing is, you might not know this, Sigourney Weaver's in both films.
Holy
What?
Talking about
shit!
reuse.
Wow.
That's Sigourney Weaver.
I didn't
Yeah.
even recognize her.
Really
Jeez.
makes you think.
Active.
Yeah.
Did anybody else pick up on, because I don't know, maybe I was just picking up on this, that Alien could be looked at as a horror remake of 2001 in a lot of ways? Because
I know that was one of
Okay.
their inspirations.
they did, it was clearly...
that and Texas Chainsaw Murder
Yeah,
House.
it's-
Murder House. Yes.
Chainhaw Murder House.
It's like
Chainhawk.
2001 and Murder House teamed up.
I
Murder
can kind of. I mean, I haven't
'Cause they're-
seen.
Plot point wise, they're on their way to investigate this alien thing,
Yeah.
right? And then they get there, and then the computer goes nuts and tries to
Yeah.
murder them.
Mother How situation.
But even some of the filmmaking techniques, one of the things like in the very first few minutes of the film, the ship turns on and you see the screens turn on, and they do this effect that they did in 2001 that it looks really cool, where they project
Oh yeah.
the contents of the screen onto the faces of the actors that are using it, and I always think that's that's very recognizable as something that they did in 2001.
I love the moments where, after they get through some stuff, they're showing the screens reflected in all those EV helmets.
Yeah.
And that's reminiscent of the end, because we're going to use the fuck out of those EV helmets for the finale.
That's right.
Yeah, I never thought of that, but I quite like that as a concept. And that's an interesting pairing. And I had a thought that just died.
On the vibe.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of Alien is right in between, because this came out a couple of years after Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
So
79.
I feel like it's a nice spot in between Star Wars and 2001, where 2001 is all conceptual and Star Wars obviously is just a fun adventure. So it's they were trying to thread the needle there of getting something that's a little bit adventure, a little bit serious, a little bit more drama.
It's too, and this, you remind me, that's what I was going to say, is in a way it's weird, because it's not hard sci-fi. Because even though they never really say it explicitly or show it, they clearly have some sort of FTL system. Because there is nowhere that is only 10 months from Earth by non-FTL
What
flight.
does FTL mean?
Faster
than
than
light. Damn it.
So it's not strictly hard sci-fi, but again, they never really truly
Yeah,
show
they don't get into it. Yeah.
the weirder stuff.
Why does having faster than light travel mean it's not hard sci-fi?
Hard sci-fi doesn't... That's just one of the things. You don't have FTL in hard sci-fi.
Lies.
Well, you're not supposed to, according to people.
I feel like hard sci-fi is more about, are the concepts moving science forward? And in this one, there are science concepts, but they're nothing like future concept-y about them. They're
Sure.
all just, these are aliens and they will kill you.
Yeah. But some people will claim that if there's FTL, it's automatically not, so... But either way,
Those people are narrow-minded dicks.
that's fair. That's a lot of nerds are.
I was gonna say, what? Nerds being gatekeepers? Fucking shocked by this.
But it is really interested in sort of the mechanics of, when they do the landing, it's all very, they're going through all the steps and the processes, like you would with any kind of proper sort of landing procedure, be it a spacecraft or an airplane. It's again, that part making the world very sort of grounded in a way.
Yeah.
It's we're sitting here going through this process, and we're showing you just to emphasize how this is just these people's jobs. This is just a thing they do. It's not this kind of Star Trek-ish, do this crazy maneuver.
Magical, yeah.
And, George Takei waves his hands and the ship is suddenly doing crazy shit. Landing a spaceship isn't easy, even in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You will break it.
so much
Oh, wow.
because you landed on a rock.
Speaking of landing on a planet, also, like, they create this big, I hear it's like 50 feet tall, like the landing leg that they filmed in front of. And even at like 50-foot fucking structure that they built just to walk people in front of an EV suits, they're like, it doesn't look big enough.
Oh, that's right.
It's gotta look bigger.
Yeah.
So they took Ridley Scott's 2 kids and another kid, put them in child-sized EV suits, and filmed them that way so that the scale would look bigger. And they used the kids, I think, in the Navigator alien room too.
Yeah, to get
and
that
it was
scale.
way too hot, and the kids kept passing out.
Yeah. But apparently they tried to use adults at first, and the adults were like, "It's way too hot. We're gonna pass out." And
The kids are more resilient.
And Ridley Scott is like, "You're just whining. It's just whine." And then they use the children, and the kids are like, "Oh, we just passed out." And he's like, "Oh, maybe that's a real thing. I guess." I don't know.
That's actually...
What an asshole.
That is...
Shot though, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
great.
it does look really
right?
cool.
It's
Really effective.
that's a pretty old trick too, because the end of Casablanca, the airplane is just like a, it's like a cutout, not a real plane.
Yeah.
And to make it look bigger, the actors around it were actually, oh god, what's the proper term now?
Little
people.
Little people's good. Okay,
Yeah.
the actors are all little people.
Oh, they did the same thing in the cage of the first episode of Star Trek.
Oh, there we go.
One of the Telosians in the background was a little person to make it look like the hallway went on
It was longer.
Did
yeah,
you
yeah.
know that
Force perspective shit.
in The Wizard of Oz, the Munchkins
Damn it.
and the Lollipop Guild
Yeah.
are also...
Here's a note. I have a great note.
No.
Both scenes have interesting cut scenes in which Ripley would have found some of her co-stars.
Crewmates.
Co-workers. Crewmates is a better word for it. Yep, her crewmates in those little cocoons being cocooned alive. In the first one, she would have found... What's his fucking name? Dallas
Dallas.
and
The captain.
Brett, the engineer that gets...
The first one that
Harry,
gets it?
Harry Dean Stanton.
Henry-
The
yeah.
dad from Pretty in Pink.
And both of them
the
are
dad
in
in Pretty
a
in
cocoon.
Pink?
And Dallas is saying, "Kill me," and she's like, "I'm gonna save you."
No,
fucking
please
no.
don't.
So she flamethrowers the whole room.
So they just did that. They just
Yeah, they
copied
did
that to the second
Same
movie.
yeah, but in the second movie, there's another cutscene in which she would have found Burke being cocooned alive.
And then she wouldn't have killed him.
And he's like, "Kill me," and she just hands him a grenade and leaves.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
Well, I think in the first one, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it like, because this would have had major implications, like they couldn't have done some of what they did in Aliens.
Yeah.
But I think the cocoon was specifically like metamorphosizing them into the eggs or something.
Oh, is that what was supposed to be
I feel like I
happening?
read that once.
Oh, weird.
In the first one, not in the second. In the second
Yeah,
one,
the
they're
second
being
one
held
they
to.
destroy it because a child can escape it and fuck you.
Yeah.
Hated that so much.
I might be wrong. I feel like I read that a while ago, but yeah, that was the thing. Was like that was actually how the eggs were created. Was
Oh, weird.
Ew.
Suck up the nutrients.
What a weird form of reproduction.
well, yeah, parasitic wasp or something.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking of the parasitic.
But how can you be a parasitic wasp on a planet without any other animals to parasite on?
Well, I think
Well,
they
that-
were screwed. I think that's what happened. I think they
Oh, they
landed.
screwed themselves?
Yeah, they crashed into that planet on accident,
See?
and then they just been stuck there in egg form.
Wait.
Probably
waiting for
after
something to come by.
overpopulating their own planet.
And then, like,
destroying
you
their
know,
own
climate change.
place.
Well,
Yeah.
again, if we assume they were,
Caligula shows up. Is like, oh shit.
if we assume they were a weapon, like the idea is like we're gonna dump these on our enemy's planet.
Yeah.
They'll eventually die off after
Yeah.
having killed everyone, and then we can take over.
Free planet.
Because I think it's like in the long term, you don't want them to survive. If they're artificial,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to completely make sense. Again, that's if that is what the case was. This is an assumption that that the guy wasn't in fact a scientist that found these eggs and was transporting them back home to study, and whoops,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was actually an ore hauler from his world.
Damn it.
Well, I like I know there's lore in like Prometheus and stuff, but I don't know.
Ignore it.
I like the idea that like the aliens are just kind of like a virus. You know, if you get them on your ship, you're basically fucked, and then their whole purpose is to replace your crew or use your crew as incubators to reproduce and then go find some other ship to screw over.
And it's not the first time we've seen macro viruses on this show.
macrovirus
On this show?
on our
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, on our podcast, sorry.
Because there's a Voyager episode with a macrovirus.
Special effects were much better in this.
Yeah, a lot better.
I hope so.
30 years earlier.
I mean,
Movie
H.R.
budget.
Giger.
But also practical effects instead of 90s CG.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Very tall, lanky man in a suit.
So
him.
We've mentioned the production design a lot.
Bolaji Badejo, I think.
Yeah. He was 6'10", and they're like, "You're
Weighed
tall
a
and
fucking ton.
You're tall and very skinny."
He did not weigh a fucking ton. He's a
clearly.
skeletal man.
6'20", fucking killing for fun.
I feel like that's the second or third time we brought that up on this show.
It's very catchy.
It's great. The shit's great.
Yeah.
But someone's saying something about production design?
Who knows?
Melissa was.
I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was going to bring us back to Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
Let's talk Jodorowsky's Dune.
God, that movie would have been insane if they'd made it.
Well, so there's a documentary
50 hours long.
available if you haven't seen it about this. I don't actually know how to say the guy's name. I've been saying
it's Jodorowsky.
It's Jodorowsky. Okay, so there's this like crazy. Is he French? Where? Or no? He's South American. Where's he from? I don't know.
Oh, I thought he was French because I thought Chris told me he was French.
Well,
did we talk about it?
They worked on the
a lot of the
movie.
team was
They worked on the movie in France, but I feel like he's like from like South America or like Argentina,
Yeah,
Chilean
or
French.
Chilean.
Yeah, they definitely spoke a lot of Spanish in the.
Yeah.
So he's both.
So anyway, this guy who had short story, he's a film director. He's made a shitload of like really avant-garde shit.
Oh yeah.
And then somehow managed to acquire the rights to Dune in the early 70s before, the David Lynch.
Hey, listen to our Dune coverage from a while back.
We probably talked about it on that show too. And this guy's like a mad scientist and somehow got like a fair amount of funding for it and hired all of these great people to start designing for it. And he'd hired like actors, like Salvador Dali,
Mick Jagger, Orson Welles. They'd contracted with Pink Floyd to do the music.
Yeah, to do the music.
And all they could get us for the fucking David Lynch one was Sting. Give me a fucking break.
And Toto did the music.
That's right.
Oh, well, Toto's great.
Toto is great, but like,
It's
Pink Floyd,
quite
Toto.
good score.
It is a good score. I'm just busting balls.
But like on the creative side, like the movie obviously failed because it was way too ambitious. It was like going to be 9 hours. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
But
these days you would just make it a streaming thing on Netflix.
And like the salary demanded by Salvador Dali alone was enough to bankrupt the film.
And he was
just
probably
been the
worth
emperor.
it.
And he was only going to be the
Orson
emperor.
Welles.
Never mind.
the Emperor has like one scene.
Like the movie, they ran out of money before they ever did anything. But he did hire for a production designer, Dan O'Bannon, who wrote this movie, and the concept artist was H.R. Giger. And I think there were other people.
Yep, Jean-Gerard Mobius, the like French designer Mobius, and Chris Foss, who did a lot of the special effects.
So they did. So basically, when that project fell apart, O'Bannon was like, "I'm going to write this alien movie I've always wanted to write," and then went and hired all of his friends from the Dune failure to come work on this, and like that's how we ended up with this. Like this is in a weird way like the spiritual child of that Dune film that never happened.
And we got whatever the fuck it is that David Lynch did.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking on it, you could almost see Giger designing those still suits. Just because they're so ribbed. And loves ribs.
There's really cool like there's like a production book from Jodorowsky's Dune that you can see a lot of like the like. It very obviously is like before Alien existed. It's like pseudo alien stuff, but in the Dune universe.
I wonder because I haven't read the Dune books, but I also wonder if some of the descriptions in the books are specific enough that you would probably
that you could pull
just accidentally recreate the thing twice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like how else do you describe a still suit? It's a suit with lots of tubes running.
Yeah, but like. H.R. Giger's gonna like be putting like fucking scary gargoyles on it, and shit, you know.
Yeah, and there would be way more like secret penises and vaginas.
Yeah, everything's a penis and a
vagina with a skull on it. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and I can't get over the fact that when they designed the face huggers to like make them look super nasty, they're like, well, let's just get some like sheep intestines and like seafood, like it's like clams,
and then
so
not tell the actors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus
so
Christ.
nasty.
Oh.
The internet was like, why does the face hugger look like a vagina? And I was like, I'm sorry, have you ever seen a vagina? Because I'm not, I mean...
That's not quite what a vagina... But
that's what I mean.
There is that teardrop shape that's a little bit like, you know, like the hole at the bottom and then there's like a little thing at the top.
I mean, okay, but...
They make it even less subtle in the terrible prequels.
Yes, yeah, I bet. I mean, even Aliens, I think, gets a little bit more like explicitly genitally shaped than Alien. Alien is kind of like all weirdly obscured.
Yeah. You never get a great look at the xenomorph skull until like one shot towards the end. You're like, that is a huge dick. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen bigger.
It's like a dick with another little dick coming out of the dick of the dick.
It's like that littler dick is sounding that big dick in reverse.
The xenomorph's head, like, it's so, like, smooth, I kind of want to, like, pat it. It looks like it'll be like...
You know, if you rub it a bunch, it'll make it feel really nice.
Well, the interesting thing is, you never really get
can you imagine that if the alien
if
was like...
someone jerked the alien
No, just
I can't.
like, at the end when when Ripley's in the loader and she's fighting with the queen, if she just reached out and started, like, patting it, and it was like...
The queen would purr, and make tribble noises.
Just, like, curls up on the floor.
And that's
all
and then Jonesy
is how to pet it.
And then Jonesy comes out and like licks it and curls up with it, and it's a happy ending.
I love that
for everybody.
movie. It's such a good movie.
It's a great movie.
My
Neighbor Xenomorph.
I couldn't get over the fact that at the end of 2, the alien queen just uses the elevator.
Oh my god!
I know, right?
Oh my
and
god!
like, I just want them to cut.
She's pushing the buttons. She knows which button to push.
I want somebody to do a cut of there being elevator music.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what I was about to say. Like in the middle of Ripley looking around, like, "Damn you, Bishop!" Cut to there. She looks at a watch.
Or like putting her into one of the scenes from Mass Effect.
Yeah, or that. She's on the elevator. There's a guy with a briefcase there, just like.
Man,
it stops and door opens. Some guy's like, "I'll get the next one."
Yes, exactly.
So good.
Fucking Mondays, am I right?
Oh.
She's like, no, there's room. I'm going down, actually. Yeah.
I have to spend at least a little while shitting on Newt.
Oh, yeah, please.
Boy, that child actor was terrible.
Hey, what is her accent?
She's American. I looked her up.
She turns English at some point, though, doesn't she, kind of?
For like every other word? Yeah.
Ames.
Thank you. She's American, but she was living in Britain.
That
so
explains
she's got
that.
Lindsay Lohan mouth, is what you're saying.
She's got no fucking
Lindsay
mouth because she
Lohan
can't
mouth.
deliver fucking lines.
Yeah. Lindsay Lohan had that problem where she was being interviewed and she like slipped into like 12 different accents and they're like, is she okay?
No, she
Turns
was
out
not,
she
the poor
wasn't.
thing.
Yeah, no.
This girl's only excuse is just that she's silly.
It was silly.
Luckily, this is like the only movie she did. The only anything she did, actually.
Yeah, she died immediately.
No,
after.
she's still alive.
Well, you said the only anything she did, so I'm
Oh,
assuming
yeah.
she did nothing
Well,
else.
I realized by saying that could have left the door open to television.
Oh,
This is like,
She's a school teacher now, I hear.
yeah, she did like a voice cameo in some cartoon like 2 years ago.
God, the mostly line is just delivered so terribly.
So weird.
It's just so bad because she can't act.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering the whole time, like, okay, this kid is suffering from trauma.
Yeah.
I can understand that she would shut off a little bit because of all the trauma she experienced.
Yeah.
The fact that she's not acting at all, God damn it, it took me so far out of the movie. That she had two modes. Flat and
screaming.
And the same scream every fucking time.
Yeah.
It's like, are you scared or are you not scared? I don't know you.
They needed Drew Barrymore.
I would have taken Drew Barrymore.
She might have been too old by this point, though. She would have been like a teenager, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to compare this movie to a great movie with child actors, Jurassic Park, where those two child actors, they're doing the acting.
They're older than her, though. I feel like even Tim was older than her.
Well, but yeah. Well,
and Tim also wasn't that good.
Tim wasn't
in
great,
my
but
opinion.
I think it's as much the acting ability of the child and also the ability of the director to make it. Like, I feel like Steven Spielberg can direct children really well. You know, Drew Barrymore in E.T. and the kids in...
Of course, have you ever seen... if you go on YouTube, there's a video of Elliot's audition.
Oh my god, it's mind-blowing.
It's fucking incredible.
So
he
weird.
works
Really
himself up to tears in seconds. It's fucking
That kid is
amazing.
way too good
Anyone
at
could have fucking directed that kid, is what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore
Well,
maybe
and also
not,
I think that probably also extends to the director's ability to cast the right
that's
child
a good
actor.
point. Seriously, go look it up. We'll link to it. It's so good.
I think, James Cameron just doesn't like children because, the kid in T2 is annoying and you hate him and you're like...
Edward
Okay,
Furlong.
yeah, but Budnick is also
Budnick's
in it.
pretty-
He's great.
He's the hero.
But you don't have to direct Budnick. He knows what he's doing. You know?
He shows up, he has a mullet.
Bada bing.
Gives you an awful waffle and...
No, I read the worst anecdote, made me really hate this fucking child.
Oh no.
In that she kept purposely blowing scenes
I hate her.
because she wanted to go play on that slide again.
Oh.
And finally, James
is the
Cameron
thing.
had to say,
No child actors.
if you do the scene right, you can play on the slide all you want.
And then after she does the scene, you tell her, nope, slide's closed.
No, they let her play on the
And
slide.
then they killed her, and that's why she's done no other movies since this.
I knew it.
James Cameron had finally fucking had enough.
movies with children and dogs. Just
I could have done without
dogs are
new,
alright.
not just because I don't like children in my entertainment, but because I didn't need Ripley to be a mom.
Yeah, agreed.
Ripley, like, they really actually did a lot of like, de-badassing of her in this. You know, like, she'd been so just survival-headed and no-nonsense in the first one.
Here comes the hate mail from all the stay-at-home moms that listen to our podcast.
And then, like, Newt is, as far as we know, she is dead. She has been snatched by the alien queen.
Yeah.
First movie, Ripley would have been like, this fucking sucks and I am
Time to
torn
go.
up, but
Time to
she
go.
is dead.
Yeah.
There is no way she's alive. I
Yeah.
know how these things function.
Yeah, we left everybody else for dead. Why
Yeah.
do we have to save
Yeah.
this child?
Like, it was like they couldn't, again, they just couldn't.
Imagine a woman not defined by her reproductive capacity.
Yeah, and again, you want to have them bond over the fact they were both lone survivors?
Yeah.
That would have been great. Again, I think for that, though, Newt should have been like 13, not 5 or whatever.
That's true.
Definitely not.
Like-
That would have been more fun, I think. Like a slightly older kid.
An older
that she could
kid-
like see herself in instead of specifically be
Also,
maternal
let
to.
Kyle Reese be maternal to it. She doesn't
Yeah,
need to be her.
sure.
He could have done it.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
I mean, I
Winona
don't mind
Ryder.
her bonding.
Ooh.
Winona Ryder, like, as
Wasn't
the kid.
she in a later...
She is actually. She's in one of the later
She
ones.
is, she is,
Yeah,
but
you're right.
she would
That-
How old
now
was
we
she
have to
in this
cover
year,
it.
though?
She would like so what? Beetlejuice was what, like 3 years after this, so 3 years younger than she was in Beetlejuice.
How old was she in that, though? Like
Child.
20?
No,
No,
In
she's a teenager.
Beetlejuice?
the character is supposed to be like
13 or
13 or
something.
something.
But how,
So she was probably 18. Because
But she-
Hollywood does
or
that.
maybe 20.
Mm.
Give me your phone. I'm going to find out.
But,
figured out.
Don't give Caitlin a phone.
I'll look it up. But,
Wow.
but yeah, like,
You
make
get no
Newt...
respect.
That's fine. Just like fucking Ripley when she's in command of the ship and they let that fucking alien in anyway.
Quarantine, guys.
Oh, I
Quarantine.
know that pissed me off so much. But I mean,
It's
it
the
really,
only
it was
time
but
that
it
you-
was Ash, right? It was Ash.
Yeah.
It wasn't him
but it's
disobeying Ripley. It was him
Obeying mother.
obeying
his-
a mother.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's the only time where I felt like, of course she's a woman, because if this was a dude, you never would have disregarded
Yeah.
those orders, you know?
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder was born in 71, so she would have been
9
a
years
little
15?
under.
Wait, when did
Yeah,
this
she
come
would have
out?
been too old.
79.
No,
That's
79
the
was
first
Alien.
one.
It was
86
the
Oh, I'm
was
sorry,
the new
86,
one,
you're
so,
right.
Yeah, so
15.
15.
But yeah, a slight,
Little-
you know, like
little old.
a teenaged
Yeah.
Newt, and they could have again bonded as like lone survivors
Yeah,
suffering
yeah.
from nightmares, and that was
Yeah,
even in the script.
Yeah.
But again, it was clearly more like
This is a baby you're gonna hug.
yeah,
Yeah.
which would have been made even more explicit if they kept in the scene with like, oh yeah, your daughter, she died.
Yeah.
You know,
I would disagree with the badassing of Ripley. I know you're leaning towards the mothering aspect, but she's also resourceful and smart.
no, that's true.
Like
That
the-
is still there.
The moment when she like does the the lighter up against the smoke detector
Yes.
things,
Yes.
so that she could alert people
Yes.
that there's something going wrong.
That's true, yeah.
When she wasn't getting a response, like
Well-
fucking brilliant.
And I feel like also this movie, like, because it like killed off a lot of guys early, it moved her into a commander role, which I like seeing
Yeah.
Commander Ripley. That is dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially since, you know, Lieutenant Buttface turned out to be like
Sure.
a total
Totally
bitch.
ineffectual,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
the
he just,
worst.
Like it was
Can't
immediate.
command
Like
his
it was
troops.
immediate from his
And
introduction.
then he just gets knocked out on his little noggin.
yeah. Well, like from the very beginning, like it's very clear that
Yeah.
the troops don't respect him
Yeah.
at all.
It's that whole how many combat drops. And he's
Yeah.
a
one.
bunch of simulated.
2, including this one.
like, yeah, it's like
But he did-
57 simulated.
He did go back and try to save Vasquez.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
work, but he tried.
You
Speaking
stayed
of-
with her when she died.
But Vasquez is also fucking great because aside from the one dude who tries to be like, anybody ever think you're a dude? And she's like, does
No,
anybody ever
you-
think you're a dude, bitch? And then they all high five her. She's like one of the guys. And I
Here's
love
the
that
thing.
about Vasquez.
Vasquez
Except that she's
absolutely
a,
was my hero
But
for the longest time.
She's got a great look.
Those guns, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Vasquez
aside from
is
being,
cool.
you know, a white woman.
Yeah. In maybe brown face a little bit. Let's talk
Definitely,
about
definitely
that.
brown face, yeah.
Yeah.
That made me
Yeah.
really sad. I just learned that yesterday. day.
Tough as shit.
This is one of my friend's favorite movies. And she was like, did you know Vasquez is played by a white woman? And I was like, son of a fucking bitch.
I gotta say, I didn't
She's
know.
so
I didn't know
tough.
until you just said it.
Well,
I
there you
did
go.
that,
It's
yeah.
all over.
Did
I mean,
you know
she
that
says
it's her in Terminator?
pendejo to somebody, so I
Game
just
over,
assumed.
man. Game over.
Well,
Did
I
you know
mean,
she was the one in Terminator?
No,
No.
I didn't.
Oh,
I had
she
no
looks
idea.
so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because she looks like a white lady in
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
She's also in Titanic. She's the Irish mom.
Yeah, she's Irish mommy or something. I looked
Like,
that up too. I
as-
was like,
as
The one
everyone's
that's like
favorite
snuggling with the
character.
kids.
Yeah, the one who tucks her kids in as
Oh,
the ship is
So
sinking.
you do
Oh.
know who she is.
Well, I know who the Irish mom is in Titanic.
Oh,
That's-
another weird casting thing. What's her name? Lambert from the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one was in The Birds when she's
Yeah,
the
I
little
saw
kid
that,
in The
yeah.
Birds,
Oh,
which
that's
is fucking
cool.
crazy. And then she was also in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like that's fucking.
I looked
cred.
her up because
That's
I was
horror movie cred.
super confused because
Yeah.
I thought she was a voice on The Simpsons, but that's Nancy Cartwright.
Oh.
Oh, funny.
Gotcha. Different guy.
Bart Simpson is
Yeah.
there
Oh,
on the
yikes.
Nostromo.
I liked that with
Eat my shorts, Xenomorph.
With the exception of, like, the one time that one of the engineers makes some, like, I'd rather be eating something else, joke
yeah.
to her, I like that she also just kind of gets treated like one of the guys,
Just like
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
By, like, one of the guys, yeah, like you said.
Yeah,
like
just a person. Yeah.
She's, again, she's the navigator. She has a real job on the ship. She's not Yeoman Rand bringing coffee.
She is definitely the most hysterical person.
Yes.
That's the only thing
Yeah.
that kind of
So
sucks.
funny.
She's
Just so
she's-
funny.
She's the audience surrogate.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I
it's
guess
like,
that's true.
this is
Well,
fair.
I guess that's the good thing is in Aliens they made it Paxton.
Yeah.
So that's hysterical one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
And
That's
he
nice.
ad-libbed so much of his lines.
Really?
Yeah, he ad-libbed Game Over, man. And
wow.
it's fucking,
Game Over, man.
it's fucking, like,
That's-
trivia now.
Oh, yeah, that's one of those, like, every top 10 greatest lines in a movie list is on there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is,
Oh.
watching it last night, I don't know. I do feel like they kind of maybe went a little
Oh, yeah.
one or two steps beyond where they needed to go with the goofiness of Bill.
He was
Bill
a little
Paxton.
unbelievable.
It's probably because of the ad-libbing then.
Yeah.
Mm.
Huh?
But I mean, it's crazy that much of it survived the edit. Like,
Right.
They, didn't cut
They
it.
could have cut that down
Oh, that's a
some.
good point. They also, when they did the hand knife trick,
Oh, God.
they didn't tell Paxton that it was going to be his hand, so the horror on his face is real.
Jesus!
Okay,
But
I'm
did
gonna.
they just shoot that
I
in slow
hate
and
that
then speed
shit.
it up?
I think they did it in slow, sped it up, but I read that it didn't look as good. So when they were redoing it with a different angle or something like that, they actually did nick Paxton's finger.
Sure.
You betcha.
Oh, boy.
Why would you use an actually sharp knife? I don't know.
Mm.
The
Why?
thing is, it wouldn't have to be that sharp because if you're
No,
going
that's
fast,
Yeah,
I
if you're
was just thinking,
smashing
too.
it down, you're going to
Hi.
hurt somebody no matter what.
So, why?
He's gonna go for your face.
This isn't important, but why are the
Face
aliens
hugger.
full of white goo?
the aliens or the androids?
I mean, the
Androids.
androids? Like, why aren't they just full of wires and metal? Why
Because
are
I
they
think
full
they're
of
like-
fleshy bits?
They do eat food. We do
True.
see Ash eat food and drink drinks.
But, I mean, I get that they, need to blend in, but, just give him a little trash compactor in his belly, and when no one's looking, he just opens
Well,
it, pulls out the
I
key.
also don't think they're like robots in the sense that we think of robots.
Yeah.
I think they're more like
the
They're artificial
robots.
life.
yeah, they're
but
like
not-
closer to like
Or
like
a Blade
like-
Runner
Like they-
replicant.
like they
Blade Runner
grow
or
them in a
Data
jar
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What color is Data's blood?
Oily, I guess. I don't think
Yeah,
we
I
ever
think- I
see
think-
his blood.
I wanna
He's
say
definitely
like
not
a
full
oil.
of milk. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, replicants just bleed red. These guys sweat milk. It's weird.
Oh, so gross.
Very weird.
Very upsetting.
It feels like they just wanted to do something sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, just do something weird. White blood.
Back to one of you said at some point when we were first talking about Ash, maybe it was Chris, I don't remember, about putting like a worker down there who is not going to grow a conscience.
Yeah.
He kind of does, because he at the end he's like, I'm fucked. You guys are fucked too, but I might as well tell you what I know, which I think is
This is one who has a head on the desk.
yeah.
Which I thought like for 1979 that looked pretty good.
Even the
The
moments.
head on the desk. I mean,
For me, it's
the
like-
transition
the transition
the
is
transition
the
from
right
the
fit.
sculpt to the real head was clunky. They should have cut away
Yes.
instead of trying to like do a quick jump cut to it. But
That's the bit that was.
that looked really bad.
But
But
even-
I think just the head on the table ended up working pretty well.
Yeah. Because
Even-
there was that flap, that
Yeah.
skin
Yeah.
flap that they had.
But even when he was first torn in half and the head was kind of dangling, because it was covered in so much goo,
Goo.
Yeah.
it looked pretty good.
Maybe
Yes,
that's
maybe
why.
that's the way-
yeah. Yeah, covering him with
Yeah.
paper mache paste is one way to hide how shitty the thing looks.
It was so gross.
It really, I have never, but I really
Don't say it, Jake.
I'm not gonna say
We
it.
all know.
We've all been thinking it.
It's horrible.
One thing I will say watching these is I've never played it, but this makes me really want to try Alien Isolation.
I played through part of it.
What's the gist?
So you're Ellen Ripley's daughter looking for Ellen Ripley.
You're Ellen Ripley's daughter dying of cancer on Earth.
No, it's her when she's younger, looking for her
Badass
mother.
game.
That sounds awesome.
And it's very much like the whole look, the feel, the soundscape, all of it is like totally Alien inspired.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like you're creeping through. You can't.
Yeah. Okay.
You the point of it is not to destroy the xenomorph. It's to avoid
Escape.
the fuck out of it.
Avoid
Because
the
there's nothing you can do.
Nice. That's a good kind of
So
game.
it's just stealth and hiding and kind of sneaking around it, and the look and the feel. Again, the chunky computer buttons and everything's very analog and all this. It's like the only good video game based off this series, because there have been many.
Oh yeah.
And they've all been critical disasters, with maybe the exception of like some of the arcade shooter ones. But like it's the only good Alien game. And I might even have it somewhere, but
Yeah, I have it in my Steam library because I played some of it and then I just gave up on it eventually. I don't know why.
Now I just want like Xenomorph Mr. X mods for Resident Evil 2.
oh, I'm sure they
remake.
exist.
And I want like an Avoid the Noid, but with like a 16-bit Xenomorph chasing you around
That's
with
good.
a box of pizza. Like, I wish I had any talent so I could make any of this happen.
Yeah, the xenomorph looks fucking terrible when it's moving. But I will say they did a really good job of designing it to be like in the backgrounds of shots, and then it moves slightly. That is spooky. That's a
those
good
are good.
effect.
I mean, the fact that it is a human being in a suit
Yeah,
dealing
I see.
is a little bit mind blowing, because
Yeah.
they didn't have the capacity to do like
CGI.
Like I know, like the alien queen took 15 fucking people to puppet it.
Oh yeah, that must have been nuts.
But to take just a very tall, very
Yeah.
lanky actor and to put him in a suit, like it's interesting, but it means like he moved very slowly.
Yeah, and weirdly.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of get that.
Did you say he was 6'10"?
He was 6'10".
6'10".
I can't even imagine someone that
That's
tall.
a tall as hell.
Zdeno Chara is 6'9".
Who is?
He was the hockey player.
Oh, Charo. Is that what you said?
Chara.
Chara? Oh, yeah, I know.
Charo's an actor
Oh.
and musician.
Wow.
Wait, the Latin singer?
Yes.
Yeah, I know her. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
How
great.
tall is she?
She's short as fuck.
Yeah, she's like 4'10", probably.
She's 4'10",
She's
and that's
very
about how
short.
far her tits stick out too. That's
Ew.
that's what you know about her. She's little
She's
and
a
she's got
cube.
huge boobs.
That's funny. I tend to think of hockey players as not being
No,
super tall, so he must have stood out.
Not. He's very
Yeah, they tend to
I
be.
feel like most like hockey players are like
5'10".
between 5'10" and 6'3".
Yeah, they're more compact as far as athletes go.
But, yeah, and there's certainly lots of basketball players that exceed
Hi,
7
precious.
feet.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good point.
but they also tend to be more muscly.
That's
Whereas
true.
this guy is
this
like
guy was just
Doug
a
Jonesy.
string bean.
Skinny.
Yeah, they considered Peter Mayhew, but I don't think Peter Mayhew would have had the same kind of movement.
Is that
It also
Chewbacca?
just
Chewbacca.
Yep.
would have inherently just made it, because he's not a big guy, but he's still
He's much bigger than this.
this
guy.
guy. Yeah, he's
They should have had David Prowse, and then he could have done the voice too.
Is that the guy that's in the Darth Vader suit?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got
Okay, great, thank you.
this like nerdy English voice that he was surprised that they cut out of the movie.
Oh, what a weird twist.
search the ship. I want them alive.
Can you imagine? I just feel so bad for him, like taking his family to the premiere. Oh, hi, Governor! I'm gonna be in this movie with the Star Wars, and I get to play with a laser sword.
I mean, those things are still true.
Why is he an urchin?
I mean,
All
it's
of
not.
Jay's English characters are
It's
urchins.
not that far off. Okay, it's not that close. Either, but
Well, it's like when Charlie Bucket found out that his singing hadn't been replaced in. I almost said Wizard
well,
of
that's
Oz.
different though.
That's not right.
They promised
Wizard
him
of
it.
chocolate.
They promised him it was going to be.
That's
No,
right.
I know. That's what I mean. Imagine
He
that
was
you
like,
go to the
yeah.
you go to the screening and there's your shitty, terrible little squeaky child singing
Yeah, that's
voice.
rough. That's
Poor
rough.
bastard. He didn't do movies after that either. He's a vet now.
Oh.
Focuses largely on like large stock animals like horses and shit.
He's a real
Olympus.
James Harriet.
One thing that both movies have that I think impractical as shit.
Yeah.
Those movement detectors that kind of detect movement,
So
but
dumb.
don't. It's like fucking Khan in Wrath of Khan, in that they don't have 3D thinking.
So stupid.
It's like, oh yeah, it's coming right for us. Oh, we don't see it in front of us, guys.
God.
Guys.
I mean,
God
especially
damn
like,
it.
in space. I feel like space is the exact place where if you spend any time in space, you have to think three-dimensionally.
Yeah.
Everything is around you and like
Especially with
it's
all these
not linear.
all these shafts that
You're
they're
not on
in.
a fucking road.
Yeah, that's I guess
It's
maybe
great
another.
for the tension, like, oh, it's
Yeah.
going to be right here. But they do it in both movies.
It's so dumb.
And it's like,
It's
you
so
didn't
dumb.
learn this from the last fucking movie.
Didn't they even specifically say at some point, like before that scene, they're like, "Oh yeah, we gotta like lock down all of the vents and shit."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"How did you forget about the ceiling?"
Well, here's the thing. They probably didn't realize that the motion detectors didn't work.
I mean, they do work, though.
But they didn't work well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're not translated well to what you're actually looking at.
And now again, imagine like they go to lock down the ceiling panel and there's John McClane.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm lost. I was looking at the back.
They open up the duct and he's just in there and he's just like, occupied. Oh, sorry.
He could have dealt with xenomorphs. Him and Al on the outside in a little spaceship.
The outside? Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
They open one of the shafts, and they're accidentally in Cisco's office. Took a wrong turn. It seems so, or whatever. Whoop, doo, 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 doo. Backs right back up.
Cool prop I liked. Cool prop corner.
Oh, the little the red lights in the tube. No, they
didn't
were
have
not
red
in
lights.
these.
They did not have red lights in the tube.
Is it the auto-destruct thinger?
Well, that was cool.
I like that. It reminded me of the Genesis device.
Yeah.
Was it Jonesy's cool futuristic?
I want you guys to keep guessing, and once you get to it, I'll tell you.
The little car. The
Oh,
guns.
I didn't like the little car.
Do you
No,
like the
that
part
line.
when she duct taped a gun to another gun?
That was excellent. That was hysterical.
So goofy.
Oh, that reminded me of something. But Jake, you go first.
But yes, I did. But it is
What's the prop?
it is a gun. It is the gun that Vasquez
Yes.
had that was like attached to like a Steadicam rig.
That's what that was, right?
I'm 100%
It definitely
sure
was,
it
and I
a
think that's
Steadicam
so
rig.
smart because they have steady.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
or they could just buy him for the movie.
And it's kind
Badass
of
as shit. And then there's like a coordinated dance that she
Yep.
and one of the other Marines
Yeah.
do.
yeah. And that's great though that they're not just hauling around these impossibly huge guns. It's like no, they're still people.
Yeah, we have
they
rigging.
need assistance.
Yeah.
One thing that did annoy me though with the machine gun was that the bullet readout was on the side and
Yeah.
not on the stock where it would be
There's so
useful
much
to
part
the
where,
shooter.
Where, like Ripley turns it to look at it, and I'm like, how are you gonna fucking do that
Yeah,
while you're
it's
using
like
it?
that's clearly for the audience, not the user, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, that sucks.
Also, your enemy can
Yeah.
see how many bullets you have left.
Yeah,
Also,
that's true
I mean,
too.
and also like technology wise, their guns run out of bullets so fucking fast. Like, are you kidding me? It's the future. They can do like spaceships that go, and you can't just put more bullets in your stupid gun.
Just a longer clip.
Yes.
Well,
One of those fucking drum clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even in Star Wars, the blasters like overheat.
Some-
They always
if
have to
it's-
put in some
yeah.
limitations.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
I like the sequence when they're told, like, the commander that they don't trust tells them not to use bullets, and they they hand over the clips, and then
They're high, yeah.
Vasquez is
has,
like, I
a
got more
secret
bullets.
stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you can also tell that Gorman is a shit leader because
Yeah.
First he doesn't believe Ripley when she's like, "Don't let them use bullets." He's like, "Oh, bullets are fine, right? We love bullets."
She has
Go
to
Gorman, no,
explain
really.
to him.
Well,
And
he
then
didn't-
he doesn't explain to the rest why. He just assumes
Yeah,
they follow
that's true.
orders, and of course they're not going to follow his orders. They don't trust this man.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad that it was Ripley who was like, guys,
Yeah.
did anyone think of no one? That's why I think in a way it's a double shame that they're apparently explicitly Marines.
Yeah.
Because so much of the writing felt like they were mercenaries.
Interesting.
And it would have made more sense in a way if they were.
Yeah, like if they worked for the company.
Yeah.
I feel like the sense they're going for is the idea of Space Marines, where it's just like it's such a job.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just like show up to this job of being a Space Marine, especially like the whole like, oh, is this another fucking bug hunt?
Yeah.
And then like all of the dialogue between them feels very like it's just like they're soldiers that just like hang out with
It
each
was
other
like
and
they
get
were
drunk.
trying to recapture the whole Nostromo thing. And again, I think that in a way would have worked better if they were mercs.
Working class.
Because then they could have been like really more
Independent
obsessed with,
and- And not have that like theoretical structure that Marines would have.
Yeah, or even if like, maybe
Respect
the
for the
lieutenant
commander.
is still a representative of the government, but they're mercenaries. That would doubly explain the sort of disconnect there.
Yeah. Lack of respect and all that shit.
Also, another bug hunt. What's that Verhoeven film?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, were these
It
guys...
is very
Did they also work for them?
Yeah, same Marines.
Another bug hunt? Son of a
Well, they
bitch.
they had all the Marine actors read the Heinlein novel,
Huh.
Starship Troopers, to get into the military mindset.
That's
Oh,
funny.
I love it.
Yeah,
And
it
they-
feels very similar.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very like hoo-ah kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they also like
Marines.
they didn't shoot the first Marine scene until the whole rest of the movie was filmed, so that they'd have that camaraderie and they'd be friends, and so that they wouldn't know Gorman yet. They wouldn't know Ripley. They don't know Burke. They're not all the people in the scene together. Fuck those assholes.
Yeah.
They specifically asked if they'd seen the first one. They only cast people who hadn't seen Alien. That would have been funny, I think. Just to really disconnect them
Don't
from
listen to
it.
Chris, he lies.
True.
It's like Willy Wonka. None of the Oompa Loompas spoke English. They were all just... That is true.
Oh.
They were all like German extras. So they had to lip sync, like mouth English, and they were dubbed later. Hand to God.
Wild.
Augustus Gloop also didn't know English.
True,
They just
but
fed him some English.
Yeah,
to speak.
he said his own
And
lines
some chocolate.
phonetically, whereas they were dubbed later.
I feel bad for Wonka. I fucking love that kid.
Augustus Gloop.
Augustus Gloop.
He's an accountant now.
Is he?
Wow, I love
How do you know all of like
He
the
watches
he
so
checks
many
up on
special
them.
features
Ah.
on DVD.
It's actually-
what's going on with
The thing,
everybody.
the special features on the DVD, they got all the kid actors back together, interviewed all of them, and the 5 of them got together and did the audio commentary, and it's really good.
What's Mike TV up to these days?
All kinds of random shit.
Is it TV?
Entertainment industry adjacent in some way, shape, or form, usually, yeah.
Not until you're 12, son.
Yeah. But that's not this movie.
It's not?
That's a very different film. Mr. Wonka, what's in this room? Don't know! Oh, fuck, he got into the egg room. Run!
There are eggs in that.
Looking at eggs is a fun pastime, except when it's full of an alien guy.
I thought you were going to go with slime.
So did I,
also
but
thought that.
but I liked the twist. It's
Guy
still a
is good.
slant
Guy is
rhyme. It
good.
works.
It's beautiful.
Wow. Oh, fuck, you did
Just
it.
went
You broke
places.
him.
Mech suit fight. Mech suit fight.
Do we have to talk about
I love mech suit fight. I
It's
want
so
one.
slow aims. Like she puts it on and it does like
That's
you know,
'cause
it's a
it's a mech
podcast and no one
suit.
gets it. That's
I-
what it is. That's what it is.
I
And the
appreciate.
alien moves so fast, except for when it's fighting her, and then I guess the
Well-
slowness of the mech suit is fine.
Let's be fair. At this point, it's had its ovipositor blown off. It's probably in pain and bleeding.
She kind of like
It did have
tore
a
it
blow
off.
off.
She like tore
Yeah,
it.
I feel
know.
like the alien made a choice to do that, though.
Yeah,
I have like I was thinking like, is that just something that she grows
Yes.
when she needs it?
yes.
probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
well, like
laying
a
eggs.
lizard tail. She'll be able to grow
Yeah.
another one back later when she
Like
finds a
When
new
she's
place.
when she's
made
ovulating,
me
she
hurt. Why did you have
sprouts
to
her
say it like
egg
that?
sac.
Like a real weird period.
Mm.
Imagine if that was your. So sorry.
Anyway,
If you just,
mech
like,
suit
you
fight.
made like a
Hey.
tube out of your body and it just
Yeah.
like pooped out your stuff.
Next
Mech
time you're
suit.
eating eggs,
Tear
remember
it
that's
off.
basically
What's great-
just chicken ovulation.
Literally, we can't talk at once on a fucking podcast.
I know. I'm trying to make it
He's
stop.
trying to make it
I'm
stop.
trying to make it stop. I do like the practicality of it. It's as far as movie mech suits go, it feels mostly real. Like you feel like you could actually make this because with a lot of mech things in film and television and stuff, you're just like
Yeah.
the amount of controls you would need. Like
yeah.
the
Like Pacific
ones-
Rim.
Well, Pacific Rim at least makes sense because they're like, it's like reading their brainwaves. So it's like, sure, you're controlling with your mind. But in so many things, it's just like a couple of pedals and a joystick, and you're like, how are you making the arm do this really? And what about the finger? What? Like this, I feel like you could actually probably build this thing.
They did for this movie.
Well, but I mean, you could actually make ones that would
Function.
work. You know, like you could somewhere. Caterpillar's trying desperately to make a version of this to actually sell to construction
I mean,
companies.
is it actually that practical though?
Probably not,
No.
but you could make
I
it.
feel like having it be bipedal is dangerous because
Probably.
you're gonna like
Tippy.
tip
yeah.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Like I feel like a
You're gonna fall on
front
an
end
alien.
loader or a forklift
It should have a
is much
tail
better.
for stabilization.
There you go.
Or it's
Or
like,
a,
be a
like a
tripod.
xenomorph.
or it's like, you know, the front two legs have your legs in it, but then there's also two mechanical ones in the back that kind of go
So a
with
centaur.
it. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Or like a dinosaur.
Or a cow.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaur.
But yeah, it's very much, you know, one of those very iconic, parodied
Yeah,
sequences.
yeah. I mean, I don't love the fight with the queen because that doesn't make sense to me based on how it moves. But I do like when she first puts the suit on.
Yes.
As like a flirting moment with
And
him.
Hicks is like, I'm in love with you.
Yeah, I love that. So good.
Will you fucking marry me?
Where do you
That's
want
what
it?
a romance movie
Oh.
looks like.
That's, less Newt, more of them, flirting.
Cut Newt, please.
I feel like you need a survivor though. That
Yeah.
gives you some
Maybe.
texture to that.
But
Just
again,
be some scared person.
yeah,
man.
a person is fine.
the guy who couldn't get on the elevator.
Yes.
It's just going to his office job.
It's Brent Spiner for some reason.
Yay! One day we're going to do Independence Day, and I'm going to have a great day.
Oh, that'll be good.
Oh man.
I feel like maybe we can talk about it at the time, but clearly there's like a little bit of Alien in the designs of the aliens in Independence Day. Like a little bit. They were like, how do we do the Greys but make them look like Giger designed them, but without us getting sued?
And not being terribly scary that children can't watch this movie.
Yeah, that
And
too.
a little less genital.
Yes.
Lot less.
Do you think at what age could kids watch Alien and Aliens? Because I know they sold toys.
I would say 35, maybe.
I'm still amazed, and maybe they were going to and didn't, but I am shocked there wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon. Because it's they made a fucking RoboCop Saturday morning cartoon.
That would be a great
the
cartoon.
late 80s and early 90s.
That's because people didn't understand RoboCop.
Yeah.
I can even see
there was
what
a
it would
Rambo
look like.
one. Like the late 80s and early 90s were all about taking not child-friendly franchises and making Saturday morning cartoons out of them. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried it with this and it just didn't happen. But
Interesting.
I feel like you could bring a kid to see Aliens before you could
Yes.
take them to see
Yeah.
Aliens.
which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
but true.
true.
Alien
Well, just
is
like
too
any-
slow for a kid and also too scary, whereas the action shit is just...
Well, it's just like
Yay,
Terminator and like
explosions.
any other
Yeah.
James Cameron film.
Shoot him up, kind of running around stuff.
like any other James Cameron film. But the thing is like the only other James Cameron film I really know is Titanic. So it's like, yeah, just like every other James Cameron
You
film.
can bring a kid to
Avatar.
Titanic.
They'd be
Yeah.
bored to
The
piss.
Terminator
I was like
films.
11 when I went to see Titanic, and I thought I was getting away with something because
We
I was
all
like,
did.
it
There
was
were
a
titties.
PG-13
All
movie.
these
I was
middle
like,
school
woo, I got in.
girls Slammed into the movie theater, holding hands and crying. For fucking
We'll
2
never let go,
hours.
Jack.
Fun fact, it was number one at the box office for fucking ages.
Oh, I remember.
You know
saw
what
it
knocked it
twice.
off the number one spot?
Armageddon.
The terrible Lost in Space movie.
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus, with Matt
Oh, that's
LeBlanc?
the movie where the solution is always turn the ship around and go into the planet.
Yes!
I remember
Yes.
seeing that movie and being like, are they doing that again?
There's always a bigger fish.
Wait, isn't that the solution in the first Kelvin movie too?
So many movies. Because they're going to use the
gravity
of
well
the
to-
planet
Oh,
to make it so that they can actually get up to speed. 'Cause
Yeah.
they have to get to 88 miles per hour to time travel.
Yeah.
Being
To go
fair,
back
with
to the
that they
future.
used a train.
Here's a note.
Yes.
Note.
Originally, they didn't have the alien in the escape pod part of the movie. They added that at the end when they needed a button, or I don't quite know. But they put it added it to the end,
Yeah.
increased the budget a little bit so we can add this to the end.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott's original plan. Let me read this verbatim from my notes.
No, it's going to be about the underwear.
No.
Ridley Scott's original plan. I want to see TNA.
Well, no, I already
Have a
mentioned he
little
wanted
alien
it to
come
be.
out of panties.
He wanted it naked to begin with, but he wanted the alien to bite off Ripley's head. And then the alien would settle down in the chair,
Get a fork and knife.
get all comfy, get on the comms, and in a perfect impersonation,
Yeah.
and as Ripley's voice be like, "Hey guys, I'm coming home," or whatever Ripley would say.
What the fuck Men in Black shit is this?
Yeah.
I like the idea that it then lands but continues to try to keep up the ruse, so it's like in her jumpsuit and has put on a little wig, and people are just like,
Where's the tail go?
you look different, Ripley. Yeah, it's space.
I've been
travel.
working out.
No,
And
yes.
working out.
Suits you.
It made me feel black and exoskeleton.
That version is funny. But yeah, I remember reading that, and that is, oh boy.
Bad idea. It's better this
That
way.
that
Yeah,
was one
that's
thing
awful.
that kind of annoyed me with 2 as well, was
Yeah.
like it did the classic sequel thing
Yeah.
of the same but bigger. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the end of the movie? We fly away from a big
Explosion.
nuclear explosion, but then, oh, wait, it's on the ship, and throw it out an airlock.
Yeah.
And the fight, is iconic, but I really appreciated that the end of the first one is just like, kind of sturdy, I'm just gonna slowly belt myself in, and I'm freaking out, and rightly fucking so.
She acts the shit out of that scene, too.
And then it's just like,
It's so good.
fuck you, vacuum! And it's like, what?
It's so good.
Yeah, I love all the constant close-ups on Sigourney Weaver's face. It's very The Shining,
Yeah.
because it makes her eyes look fucking enormous
She's
and
such a good
terrified.
actress. Yeah.
I love that.
She's great.
Yeah.
Also, that little girl holding onto the grating with her little thingies, she'd have been blown into fucking space. That little bitch.
That little
cute the
bitch.
description was with her little thingies, and then you're like,
She
fucking
fucking
She
dies!
did slip. Bishop had to grab her, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Bishop grabbed her.
Hero Bishop. Jerk.
half
Let her
of
go.
Bishop.
Oh.
Or like Bitchip.
Ah.
I got his number.
That's something I feel like they didn't. Like, again, like a thing that I feel like they kind of laid the groundwork for but didn't follow through on was just the knee-jerk distrust, that understandable knee-jerk distrust she has of Bishop because fuck androids.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they maybe want to do something about
Yeah.
androids and as a race metaphor, but never
Yeah.
followed it anywhere.
Well, and I feel like there's just like not a lot that happens in that. Like, it's an interesting thread, but just they kind of didn't. Nothing.
Not really, yeah.
I
It's just,
feel like they needed it because there was an android in the previous movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why they had to
It felt
address
similarly tacked on. Like in both movies, it's like kind of beside the point.
Yeah,
but
there's
I
just
guess it's
the
here
android.
too.
Maybe the whole point was, in that day, Ripley learned an important lesson, which was that not all androids are horrible and the
Yeah.
stereotypes are not real.
So
Ripley's
true.
heart grew 3 sizes that day.
But do they
And it
dream of
killed her.
electric sheep?
Don't know, don't care.
Oh,
Fuck you, Philip K. Dick.
More like Philip K. Dick!
Okay, so back when I was working in publishing, this is such an aside.
I love it already.
I used to abbreviate, so I worked on the Philip K. Dick novels for the ebook version.
Oh, you
so
gave me a bunch.
I had a huge pile of them at work. I sent them to like lots of people trying to get rid of them. But I used to,
Including me.
in my notes when I was working on stuff, I used to like abbreviate stuff to like, you know, you have to like finish up the ebook for Philip K. Dick's, whatever. And then I was like, I just kept writing Dick. So I was like writing Dick all over my notes and I was like, I gotta change that. So then I was like, I'll just write Phillips. But the book that I was working on was called Electric Dreams. So it's Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. So I eventually just changed it to Phillips ED. And then I realized that does not help.
Nice.
No,
That
it's not Dick's ED at least.
I know, I mean, like...
I will say that is one of my go-tos for whenever people say the book is always better. I'm like, no. Blade Runner is so much better than Do
Philip
Androids
K.
Do.
Dick wrote so many cool ideas that became
Yes.
amazing movies.
Yes.
And when you read them, you're like,
Yeah, he's good
Okay.
at concept and
Yes.
less at execution.
And the less said about his opinions on women, the better.
You can say that about a lot of
Oh, yeah,
sci-fi
but it
writers.
was the 19 run.
No,
remember
even
when he
even
was
after he
writing.
should have known better.
I mean, his Electric Dreams that I worked on, he was alive. I mean, like, he was writing it. I don't know if he's dead now, but he exists in the world.
He's still alive?
No, he
maybe?
died a while ago.
Oh my god, I was like, holy shit. But he's been alive in my lifetime?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Oh, I thought he was like olden times.
Ooh.
Like Shakespeare.
No, but I mean, like, honestly,
Shakespeare.
I probably thought, like, I don't know. Next thing you're gonna tell me Cthulhu's writer is alive too.
Lovecraft?
Yeah, him. That's
More
what
like
I think. I think
Lovecraft.
I thought it was just like
more
in,
like Lovecraft.
in
Indeed.
olden times they used to use like verb noun for names. So Shakespeare, Philip Dick.
Nailed it.
Philip that dick.
I
Awaken, said Deckard.
That's what they
Tis
used to call
time
all
to
compositors.
pass.
It's Philip Dick. Beautiful.
I think the only last worthwhile note of my mentioning is in Aliens, the word fuck is used 25 times, 18 of which by Hudson,
Fuck,
Yeah,
man,
makes sense.
man,
which
fuck.
I love.
Was that some kind of record at the time? Like,
I doubt it.
the most fucks in any
I
film?
doubt it. I love that this is where we got nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah.
And the delivery of that sequence is that's another one of those like flirting sequences between the two of them. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, except then he's terrible because he's like, nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. And you're just like, you're lucky you're cute because you don't act so good. So.
I was into it.
I mean, like, same, but I hated myself for it, you know? Like,
I just kind of now want some candy company to have like nougat from orbit. It's the only way to be sure as like
oh
some
my
kind
god.
of tagline or
That
something.
could be Three
Shit out of
Musketeers.
that.
They're
Yeah.
full of nougat.
And they're made by
Full
Mars.
There we
full
go.
of nougat.
Oh. But yeah, I It's really just reaffirmed. I fucking love Alien. It's such a good movie.
Such a good
It's a
movie.
very good
It's
film.
bonkers.
I think I'm glad I didn't see it until I was an adult. I think
Oh.
little me would have missed out on so
I
much.
remember
all the
seeing
dicks.
it.
Rewatches are worth it, though. I mean,
Yeah, and I feel like I had seen many years ago a screening of it at the Brattle.
Oh, I bet that was great.
yeah, big screen
yeah,
for Alien.
and that was
Yes.
that was pretty fun, and especially in a theater with like a bunch of other people who were into it.
How many
Bunch of
snow
other
caps were you
nerds.
eating?
I don't know, probably a box
Or
Snow
3.
caps. Yeah.
It's a really, I mean, it's a fucking great cast in the first one, too. You know, I'm not sure how many of them were already kind of well known and how many this made.
I actually wrote this down. I'm
Melissa's
so
got
glad
a
you asked
note.
this question.
Thank
Okay,
you, Melissa. This is why you're here.
So Sigourney Weaver was like not a big thing, but this was like her kind of big breakout.
somehow didn't get nom for any awards though.
Yeah.
Well,
Weird, didn't it?
especially then, like, still to this day, but
But
Yeah, it's genre.
genre stuff just gets ignored by everything except genre-specific
but then
awards.
Veronica Cartwright got nominated for best subordinate actress.
Supporting.
What is it called?
Supporting.
Yeah.
Wow, then I got nothing.
Best subordinate actress.
Subordinate. Best submissive actress. Okay,
Well, they had those at the pornies.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
at the
got-
AVN Awards.
So you've got Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, who's Captain Dallas,
Yep.
was in MASH like
Yep.
9 years
Yeah.
before this. So he was a big deal. This is also just like a little bit before he was in Top Gun. So he was just like,
Oh, he's in Top Gun.
oh
Okay.
yeah.
I've seen that
He's
like
a big
once.
deal guy. So, and then Veronica Cartwright, like we said, was in Birds when she was a kid, and then
Oh.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers when she was like a young woman, so she was just kind of like a staple. Harry Dean Stanton had done lots of work before this, and like a lot of
Lots
like
of westerns, right?
westerns. So
Yeah.
he worked with Sam Shepard a lot.
Yeah,
so
well,
he got a big star in roles.
Like him, yeah, he was always a that guy. He's
Yeah.
like king of the that guys.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you've seen him in something. He's in the first Avengers as a security guard.
He's
for
in the
Christ's
Green
sake.
Mile.
He's just
Yeah.
the
He's
best
Toot Toot
character
in Green
actor.
Mile.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like he and Yaphet Kotto,
Yep.
the two engineers, just bring that like realism, which is so good. And then you've got John Hurt and Ian Holm, who both had like done work, were like British actors, and like were like around.
Watership Down was probably out by then.
Maybe.
Because I think that was a late 70s movie.
Yeah.
And John Hurt's Hazel.
I feel like John Hurt wasn't like, I don't know, was he a big actor at this time? Because it seems like he gets such a small role in this film. Like, it's a huge role in the sense that like it's impactful and it's the most memorable scene in the film. But him, like, he doesn't really get to act a ton in this movie.
I
So-
think both of them were stage actors.
Yeah.
And had just like developed chops that way, and so they had done a lot of like bit parts in movies.
That
And
sounds right
they're
for
really-
English actors in the 70s.
Yeah, like that's the thing is really it's only been in the last couple decades that like they assume Americans know British actors. Like you might be the fucking king of Britain,
Yeah.
but Hollywood assumes no one knows who the fuck you are in the United States.
Well, like John Hurt, like I think of him mostly from.
V for Vendetta?
Well, he was in that, but no, I like even before this, in Claudius, he plays Caligula, which is like
That must be
shit.
weird.
It's a great, and he does it.
Oh,
he is
my
the
God.
slimiest motherfucker.
He's so bad.
Yeah, like
He's so
I-
bad. He's like Power Glove bad though. Like
Oh.
no, it's a good way.
No, I know. I like
It's
the
so
reference.
interesting because he feels like such an ingenue in this movie. You know what I mean? That like they because like with the chest burster and he's like sickly, and also like when they wake up out of the pods, he's the first one who wakes up, and
Yeah.
they like linger on him, like looking around in his little white outfit. I feel like there's something very like
onesie.
sweet and angelic about him.
Yeah, he slips into the egg fucking nest.
No.
I just lost my balance.
Oh, he's just a sweet babies and
That's the thing, like,
clumsy.
and again,
Whoopsie daisies.
that's another thing is like you get why they're not great at this. It's not their job.
yeah.
Whereas one of the common and very deserved criticisms hurled at Prometheus is these people are actually all scientists
Yeah.
who this is their job,
Yeah.
and they do some of the
Dumbest
dumbest
shit.
They're like, oh wow, the atmosphere here is breathable. So they take their helmets off, and you just want
Meanwhile, Guy
fucking
Fleegman is
to
there.
show up and go like, yeah, there's air, but what about diseases?
Fucking idiots.
It might smell funny.
I mean, and it makes sense that in Alien, the science officer is the one who is like, it's Ash. He's the one who like is trying to fuck with shit and like
Yeah.
trying to be stupid. So yeah,
Get everybody killed.
yeah, he's
Fuck
trying
you,
to get everybody
Ash.
killed. So instead of like having reasonable protocols, he's like, I don't know,
Kill all
Let's fuck
humans.
the aliens.
But yeah, it is weird seeing him this year because like when I think about it, I think of him stuff from when he's older.
Yep. I mean, both
Or
of
from
them, I
The
think.
Storyteller where he's under old age makeup.
Makeup.
Which one?
So good.
Ian
John
Holm or
Hurt.
John Hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in The Storyteller?
He's
He
the
is the
storyteller.
storyteller.
Oh, no shit, I didn't know
He
that.
played the Doctor too at one point, right?
Yeah,
He
he
did
the
the
War
War
Doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
doctor between 8 and 9 / is 9 kind of.
Yeah, he's Control
8 and
in
a
the
half.
film version of Tinker Tailor.
I fucking love
Oh,
John
yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah, he's great.
All right,
He's
John
like
Hurt.
He's great.
he's got that fucking voice.
Yeah.
And you know who has the same voice is or similar voice is fucking Shinzon there.
He's also in Tinker Tailor.
Yep.
What the fuck is his name?
Like
He plays Ricky Tar.
Pillow Lips?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, Pillow Lips.
Oh, Tom Hardy?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Tom Hardy. Yeah, and I feel like they could, like, Tom Hardy could do a lot of the things that John Hurt did just because he has that voice. And
He's so much tougher though. Like Tom Hardy is such a he's like a mountain.
he's like a
He's like
badass.
a
He's got
badass. John
He
Hurt's,
was
like,
born
such a
in the
sweet little
dark.
angel.
Brad.
Ian Holm.
It's John Hurt, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great John Hurt impression.
Ian Holm, of course, now will forever be Bilbo.
Yeah.
But he was also in Fifth Element as the wacky priest.
Which I totally
So-
forgot.
Probably the
Fifth
first
Element.
thing I saw him in.
God, you guys have to do it.
We have to do Fifth Element.
Please
We
bring
keep
me
talking
back.
about
Didn't we
it.
do
Bring
it?
me back.
No, we haven't done it yet.
Well, if
Oh,
we
I
have,
love
we
it
should do it
so
again.
much.
No, we
You're gonna
have
come
not.
do
Do
it?
it again. Yeah, I love
Good.
that.
I would love
love
that.
that movie so much.
Oh my god, let's do it.
So bad and so good.
Let's do it
But
next
now,
weekend.
Was Yaphet
Fuck
Kotto
it.
big at this point? I can't remember his
That's a good
career
question.
trajectory. He definitely, well, I know by this point he'd been in Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What's that? Is that Baron Hermina?
That's Roger Moore's first one, and there's just so
This is a
many.
Bond
Yeah.
movie? Okay.
But who did
Yeah.
he play?
He was the main villain, but there was a lot of just uncomfortable racial stereotyping.
oh no.
Yeah.
There's voodoo cults and all
Oh,
this other-
it was Baron.
No, Baron Schmeidy's his
Oh.
henchman. He's Mr. Big.
Oh, okay, great. I was gonna say because Baron Schmeidy sounds like it would go with the voodoo.
He
cult
would,
thing
but
you're
he's
talking
he's
about.
like the Jaws of that film.
I see. I
Um,
don't
and
think I've
if
seen
it-
that one, have I?
Probably not, 'cause it's terrible.
No, the shark's name is Bruce.
And then, of course, he's in Midnight
Is
Run
it
at some
Bond
point.
joke?
No, it's
That's what they call.
That's what the shark is called in Jaws. The
Oh!
animatronic.
I
That's what
didn't
they
know
dubbed.
that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
dubbed
yeah,
the shark
sorry.
Bruce.
I
Oh,
was
that's
just
cute.
I was just
That's-
trying to jump from
No,
your joke,
Oh, that's
and I jumped the shark. You
That's-
see what happens?
Which is presumably why the
Hey.
shark is named Bruce in Finding Nemo.
See, I always
Oh,
thought the
yeah.
shark was called Livingston, but what do I know?
Nah. I thought it was called. Fuck, I can't remember the thing's
You
name
thought it was
now.
called fuck?
The fucking plant. You know the plant's name.
Oh,
Beauregard.
Damn it.
Beauregard.
I had it. I was like, here's a joke. And then it was just ADHD was like, oh, did you have a point to make? Sorry, it's gone.
All right. Well, so do we have anything else? We are. I
Yeah,
think,
anything
at the
else
end.
on
I
our
got
guest?
nothing.
Hello, I am your guest.
Which did you prefer, Melissa?
Between the two?
Yeah.
I mean, Alien is obviously a better movie. Aliens is like more of a popcorn flick, so like if you're not looking for something that is a heavy moment, you just want to fuck around and watch some dumb Space Marines.
Yeah, look at Hicks a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like
If you're gonna
Alien-
fuck around with some dumb Space Marines,
Starship
yeah,
Troopers.
go watch Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I feel like you could make out through aliens. I don't think you could make out during Alien.
If you can,
That'd be
I
a
don't
different type
want
of
to know
making
you.
out.
I mean, honestly, both of them have moments. Like, there's a part in Aliens where, like, they, like, walk into the room where all the face huggers are in the tubes, and then, like, an ovipositor suddenly is on screen.
No.
Yeah, I feel
Making
like
out, and then that
Aliens.
happens. It's just too much.
Aliens is a makeout movie. Alien is a handjob movie.
No, God, why?
That's
But no, Alien
Why
is
do we
definitely.
have Jake on this podcast?
I mean, okay, I'll say Alien maybe is like a first date movie, so for some people that's a handjob movie. But it's like, it's scary, it gets your heart racing.
You've got to,
Really
like, say
intense.
that you got to be kind of like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of
Fingered
shit.
to Alien.
You got to be
Dear
in the
God.
mood for it. You know, you've got to be like. Oh God, I was trying to change the.
For the handjob?
When am I not in the mood for a hand job?
But I can see that be one of those movies like, I don't want to think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch Alien right now.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah,
think
yeah.
and feel things.
Existential horror. And
Yeah.
the dread of space and whatnot.
You're so small, Chris. So very small.
I know.
This is
The nostro-
weird handjob
the
talk.
nostro-
I was gonna say that's.
Damn it, we were out of it too.
Sorry.
Oh God.
That's my last statement on these movies. Thank you for bringing me on your podcast.
Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, I'm on another podcast. So, Penumbra podcast. I'm the voice of Kuan Yi, so that's always.
Well, shit, I
something.
didn't know you were on the Penumbra podcast.
Yeah, I do the highest,
With,
highest
with,
pitched, most annoying voice I possibly can.
Give us a taste.
So yeah, the Kuan Yi voice is up here, which
Oh.
is very annoying.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
That's rough. It took me a long time to work that one out.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, now I have to listen to the
Yeah,
Penumbra
we'll include some
podcast.
links.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
listen to the first season because I'm not in it. And there's
We'll
also
skip to
I'm
Melissa's
just kidding. The
episodes.
first season's amazing. Listen to it anyways. But if you want to hear me, I'm in the second Citadel, so it's like the knights fighting and sometimes kissing monsters plotline.
I love it
I'm not
already.
in the gay space detectives plotline.
Oh.
I love that one too.
Those both sound good.
Great.
Yeah, I'm down with
it's
all of
a
it.
very fun podcast. Well, and so I also have the great luck of not only am I an actor on this podcast, I also am a script editor, and I've done some
Nice.
recording supervising. So I just get to work with the production team, which everyone on this team is fucking great. So I'm really lucky to be on it.
That's so cool.
Fun.
And you're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You were in that radio play that I released.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't plug this often enough.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to my old radio play, Fine Tune Universe. Melissa's in it.
Yeah. Oh, we had some.
And she's
fun.
great.
Chris is in it too.
And he's
But
great.
everyone knows Chris is in it because
Oh.
I've plugged that before. But now we have another one.
It's me.
And our other frequent guest star Liz is in it.
Yeah.
And it's a super, just a really great listen anyway. Even if these great people weren't in it, it's still great. So you
That's
can
true.
listen to
Hooray.
it.
The story is really good.
So what are we doing next week?
Next week, I forgot that people may not know that we're usually a Star Trek podcast? Question marks. We did this episode because, there's some crazy aliens in Star Trek sometimes, so we covered it.
Yeah.
We found the connection, and we jumped on it immediately like a fucking facehugger.
I'm sure that with the masterful way we covered these films, they just assumed we always talked about aliens because
So talented.
we were great.
Such insightful commentary.
Exhaustive analysis.
Fisting. Hand job.
Here's the thing. With all the psychosexual weirdness in these movies, talking about hand jobs kind of makes
It's a
sense.
Roddenberry thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a perv.
Yeah.
Sci-fi is for pervs.
So
let's be
next
honest.
week we're back doing our Voyager coverage. We're still in season 4 of Voyager, so make
love
sure that you're listening to that because there's actually season 4's got some really good stuff. Next week, the episodes we're looking at are The Killing Game, parts 1 and 2, which we'll have opinions about, and we'll tell you all about them. So check us out there. That'll be next week. You can also check us out on SoundCloud, where you can listen to this episode again, I guess, if that's what you're into. Or listen to any other past episodes, our past 10 forwards, including things like Starship Troopers, which came up a lot, and Dune, which came up a lot. Check those
Some
out.
other Verhoeven films.
Oh, the Verhoeven films were really
Yeah,
fun.
we've done RoboCop.
End of list.
The other one.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a shame.
Not Minority Report.
Total
was
Recall.
stupid.
Total
That's
Recall.
all.
Total Recall,
Recall. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
We haven't done Minority Report.
I have
Starship
to listen to your
Troopers.
Total Recall episode because I just recently watched it. That is a weird ass movie.
That's
It really
fucking
is.
weird,
It's a
right?
great
the
movie.
end of it really should be, and it was all a dream.
We'll get into it afterwards.
Listen to the episode. It's probably on there. Let's see. What else can you do? You can read all our blog posts. We're doing lots of wild blog topics on our blog posts on SSHBpodcast.com.
Bro, and all thanks to Ames, by the way. Ames is like the backbone of that whole thing. So if you love those things, you should give it up for Ames because she births all of those things for us.
Give me them things. I look at so many screen grabs of ships.
So many.
I'm slowly going mad. Slowly, fastly going mad.
Fastly going mad.
If you have more comments that you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on the Facebook. You can use our Twitter. You can tell us in life. We probably know you. Thank you so much again to Melissa for guesting.
Yay!
Until next week, this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
And Melissa.
Yay!
Thanks for having me, guys.
Game
Thanks
over.
for being
Game
here.
over.
Episode over, man.